Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Sunday, or should I say Easter Sunday? That's if you celebrate that. It's your boy Chris Avalon, or should I say Hola Chismosa? Runner up in her line. So yeah, welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and hot topics. So if that is a show that you would be, or something you'd be interested in, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about Sinners, topping the box office. We got to talk about Ryan Coogler and him revisiting this X-Files reboot. Child, when y'all hear who they got in mind to play the Rachel Marin role, the Whitney Houston role in The Bodyguard, y'all are gonna gag. So we're gonna talk about that too. Plus, Lady Gaga had herself an audio malfunction while she was performing on her second night at Coachella. So we're gonna talk about that and the little shade she threw, saying, "At least I sing live." So it's about that. Plus, we got news on Jennifer Lopez, how she could be dragged into Diddy's trial, and her producing partner is spilling Hollywood's most darkest secrets. Some real kinky-ish, and we're going to talk about that on the show. Plus, Miley Cyrus' brother Tracee is throwing shade at Katy Perry, saying that she basically copied Miley career. We're going to talk about the Britney Spears fans dragging Bobby Brown, because we talked a bit about Bobby Brown the other day, but I got all the receipts in regards to everybody went in and let have on him. We'll just expand on the last time we talked about this here topic. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Kenya Moore took the social media to spill some tea on what happened behind the scenes at the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which caused for her to be suspended. We're going to talk about Tracee Ellis Ross's opening up. Well, she opened up to Michelle Obama, her brother, on why she prefers dating men younger than her. And we have to talk about that Drag Race finale. So definitely stick around for all of that, because it's going to be a real fun, juicy show. Y'all already know that this is one of those interactive podcasts where I always make it a point to do a live stream so that way everybody can come in and interact with all the topics and stuff. And I love conversing with a lot of the people who sit and watch the live feed. So before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. There will be timestamps put in to the show later on once I'm done with the live stream, so that way for those of you who are just jumping into everything, y'all can if you watch the playback, you can basically just go in and just catch up on all the stuff later on and just click directly to the topics that you want to hear or watch, rather than go through all the banter and stuff we do during the live feed. Please and thank you. So now let me hit my banner. I will get to the comments because I already see a couple of them already up in the situation. And I'll get to that right after the first topic, which is, let's talk about Sinners beating Minecraft. There was something that was said in regards of the Hollywood Reporter's report that kind of irritated me. And I'll let y'all know what it was in a second. Well, they called it, they said in a surprise upset that Sinners beat Minecraft. First of all, why is it always a surprise upset when Black people, I just feel like it's a racial microaggression. Like, why is it whenever Black movies hit number one, are successful, do well overseas, which we've always heard the stories about how Black films, Black people were told that, oh no, your movies won't gross overseas, your movies won't do that well outside of the United States. They've always said that. But you seem to forget the resilience of people, particularly people of color. And I was in the theater with a lot of Black folks. It wasn't everybody in there wasn't Black. It was a mixture, but it was a lot of Black people when I went to go see the movie on Friday, and I'm going to go see it again tomorrow. So they said in a surprise upset, the movie beat fellow Warner's blockbuster, a Minecraft movie, and topped the chart with an estimated $45.6 million from 3,308 theaters, including IMAX screens, well ahead of an expected $40 million. And I saw that Ryan Coogler did this little tutorial that's on YouTube for like a 10-minute thing, which was showing off like the different lenses and the different compositions of what he did in different screens, so like IMAX and Dolby and all these other theaters and stuff. One specifically, he said there was like specific theaters where you have to go to certain IMAX IMAXs to experience the type of film that he did, and one of them was at Lincoln. I didn't see it in IMAX because I heard from people that it doesn't really make a difference. I saw it in Dolby because I knew the movie, well, from what I was told, the music of the movie drives the whole story. So in order to experience like the richness of the music, I personally would recommend going to see it in a Dolby theater because there's a certain sequence in the film where you hear like the music passing through different speakers, and it feels like it's kind of piercing through your body rather than just like, okay, you're watching a movie and you're just getting that surround sound and the audio is just audioing. So me personally, I would choose. I mean, I'm sure that maybe IMAX, it does look good. Personally, it still looked good even when I watched it in Dolby. So I don't feel no way tired about choosing that over IMAX. But anyway, so they said based on Friday's gross of $19.2 million, Sinners look to open to $40 million, but a spike in walk-up Saturday business changed the landscape. And it was probably because on Friday, people were probably waiting for word of mouth. They wanted to hear how good it was because here, I believe that it got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which was very rare for a film that's R-rated. That they said that it had like a tens across the board type of score from critics and from the fandom. And I think there were some people that maybe were still a little bit hesitant and they decided to wait a little bit. Me personally, because I had heard so much of the reviews and everybody was saying how great it was, I was like, okay, I need to see this movie on opening night. Technically, opening night is Thursday, but I was like, I'll go and see it on a Friday. So now this says that not that, and here's the thing with Minecraft. Minecraft is doing fine at the box office. I don't know why y'all talking about it's an upset for 3 weeks out. The movie has already grossed $700 million worldwide. So I don't know what y'all talking about over there, the Hollywood Reporter. I don't know why y'all saying, oh, well, it was a surprise upset. I'm like, first of all, the biggest upset for me is the fact that you were looking at a movie like Minecraft, which to me, based off the trailer and everything, looks stupid as hell and juvenile. But the movie resonates with a lot of people and it made a shit ton of money. So I don't understand why people are just like, well, Minecraft, oh my God, it's an upset. Like you were expecting it to what, just be number one for like 6 months straight? Like that's not how it works. But whatever, that's their opinion and this is mine. But like I said, it's gross. It's almost at that, like it's reaching for that $1 billion global box office number. So it's done well. It made way more money than a lot of people expected. Nobody was expecting Minecraft to do this big in 3 weeks. So $700 million, I wouldn't be complaining. So they also went on to say that, and Michael B. Jordan look good there. I ain't gonna tell you which brother that is because you got to see the movie. But then they also went on to say that overseas, it pulled Minecraft, by the way, pulled in another huge 59 million for a global total of 720.8 million, including 344.6 million domestically and $376.2 million overseas. Now, needless to say, Sinners boasts a strong start for an R-rated original period genre pick. All eyes were on how Coogler's Sinners performed since the 90 million movie was made entirely by Warner Brothers movie chiefs Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy from start to finish, which you already know if y'all been hearing the rumblings around Hollywood. Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy, there's been rumors that their jobs are on the line and all this other stuff because a lot of the films that they've greenlit, and they've taken a lot of risks in regards of a lot of movies they've greenlit over at Warner Brothers. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the risks were good risks, meaning that the quality, the type of films that they were greenlighting were actually pretty good films. The problem is like Mickey 17 and things of that nature. The problem is those movies just crashed and burned really fast at the box office. They weren't making money. I don't know if maybe it was the marketing or whatever the case was, but people just were not interested. So while they were greenlighting a lot of these really cool original IPs, the reality is they just were not doing well at the box office. So this is definitely a win for Mike and Pam. So, Sinners also boasts the best Rotten Tomatoes critic score of Coogler's career with 97%. It was also graced with an impressive A cinema score from audiences and perfect scores on Post-Track. The male-skewing movie is playing to an ethnically diverse audience, which I pretty much said before I even read this article, with Black moviegoers making up 38% of ticket buyers, while white moviegoers make 35%, followed by Latinos at 18%, Asians at 5%, and Native Americans / other at 4%, according to do post track. I wonder how they keep track of this. Like, do y'all be like taking people's blood samples and stuff for y'all to even be knowing, um, you know, who's doing what and where and what who's somebody's ethnicity is? So yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with the movie is about, it is set in 1932 and it stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles where they play twins known as Smoke and Stack. They come from Chicago back to Mississippi after they were working for Al Capone. They come up, into some money. Who knows how they got the money? There's speculations in a couple of the scenes throughout the movie where I think one of the brothers kind of does have a tell where it's like, okay, she clocked you. So, and that was Smoke that got clocked. So the brothers basically returned because they were gone from like 7 years, and then they came back to Mississippi. That would be Clarksdale, Mississippi. And then they have all this liquor. They plan on opening up a juke joint. They get this place from this guy. I ain't going to tell you who he turns out to be. You got to watch the movie. There's a lot of twists and stuff going on in this film. And, in regards to that, they recruit a couple of people. So they recruit their cousin Sammy, who I told y'all is Miles Catton. I didn't remember his name before, but I got it this time. Miles Catton. First of all, he is one to watch. His voice not only sounds like it's how someone so young has such an enriched voice, and he sounds like an old soul, literally. Like I've had people tell me that when I was a kid, that I came across as an old soul, that they feel like I've been here before. This is the same thing that I've gotten from this kid, and he's definitely someone to watch. Not only when he talks, but when he opens his mouth to sing, my face literally looked like I'm trying to remember which brother it was. I think it was Stack. His face when he was driving and he pulled that guitar out and Sammy started playing, and he heard that voice, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna make some money tonight." So the richness of his voice and just like the overall richness and pain that was coming from where he was singing, he was pretty good. And then we had Annie, who is Smokes a Strange Love, and she's like someone who's into hoodoo. So that's where the supernatural aspect comes from, where she's aware of like the vampires and pretty much telling people about that whole thing, so that way they'd be able to know how to protect themselves. So I'm glad that Brian Coogler kind of put her character in this to kind of make it seem like, okay, now since she does what she does, it's more believable to be like, well, how all of a sudden these people know what the hell vampires are, blah, 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 and all that other stuff. And then we got Delta Slim, who is well, you probably don't know if you haven't seen it. He's a local pianist. He likes to drink a lot. He's played by Delroy Lindo, who we talked about the other day when we did the Blade story. But once upon a time, he was supposed to be in that. Then we got the Asian couple, Grace and Bo Chow, who I think a lot of people did not know, and I didn't know this myself, that back in the 30s, there was a huge Chinese population that lived down south. But they were like really into they were really religious and that sort of thing. But then it makes sense because when you watch shows like Warrior, which, they got the first 3 seasons, it was on HBO Max at first, but now you can watch the first 3 seasons on Netflix. You do see like the Chinese were very prominent in America during that time and building the railroads and that sort of thing. So that history is there. But it was good to know like that history of them, that there were Asian people that existed down south, because if you let people tell it, you think that it was just black folks down there and Klansmen. And then there's Pearline, who Sammy takes a liking to, and there's a certain scene in this movie, I'm like, child, let me find out you like to eat the box while it's a little sweaty. And then, we had Cornbread, who I love me some Cornbread. First of all, I've been following his career. Like, he's a character actor, so he's been around for a long time. And seeing him get his recognition and really eat up the scenery in this film was great. Mary, who's played by Haley Steinfeld, she basically played a woman who was of mixed race, who basically has gone through her life passing for white. So I definitely loved her character and how she was in love with Stack. But Stack couldn't be with her because of racism and all the other stuff. And so, yeah, Sinners is definitely a film that people need to go check out. It's a great film. So I pretty much recommend everybody go see this film. I'm glad that it's made the money that it's made. Hopefully it keeps that up. But then we have other movies coming out. We got Accountant 2 coming out. Who knows how well it's coming out this coming week. We don't know how well that's going to do, but based off of, because that movie's been out of commission for when it come out 8 years ago. So I believe that it's probably built an audience. It didn't do well when it first came out, I'll say that. But now because it's been out on streaming and things of that nature. Enough people have seen it where it's like, think I might do well. And Minecraft, look, you made enough damn money. Let somebody else shine. But if people would still want to go see Minecraft, go ahead and see it. There's room for everybody. Go see Sinners 2. I mean Sinners. Yeah, see Sinners 2, not Sinners Part 2, but Sinners 2, TOO. Like I said, I'm gonna go see it tomorrow again. And so yeah, I'm glad that Ryan Coogler is doing this. So and he's got some success with this film. But I could have sworn the movies, they said that the budget was a lot smaller. They said $90 million. But I could have sworn that I heard that the budget was less than that. But I don't know. I guess whatever. The movie still is doing well at the box office. I do feel like because of word of mouth, more people will go see it. And so I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story in regards of Sinners pretty much slaying the box office competition and dethroning Minecraft for the #1 spot? So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Hello. Has it a fun time, and I believe it was Easter holiday, which is why Kylie and her team decided to do the show 30 minutes earlier. Yeah, I heard that that's crazy that um she started her show early, because I always said, like, normally everybody was saying like she's supposed to go on at 9, she would start 8:55, but it could be that she started early for that reason. But at least she's flexible. But she's like, okay, yeah, let's get the show started. Let's start early. But look, a lot of older performers, they do a lot of their shows early. Like particularly when I did the Brothers concert last week, their show started at, it was supposed to be 7:30. They didn't start till about 7:45. And they were done by 11. And then I had people asking me, like, what time is this supposed to be over? I said, I think about 11:15, 11:30. They said, they going on that late? I was like, I'm looking at y'all saying, y'all a bunch of old ass people. So, when it comes to the older people, a lot of them don't want to be outside too long. They tired. They want to go home. They don't want to be out in these streets all night. They don't want to be out here partying like that. Like a lot of they're probably like, you know what? I paid my dues. I did my thing. I don't want to be out in the street. I just want to come here, listen to some music, drink, have a good time, and go home. And that's what they did. So, yeah, I just think like when you get older, maybe people don't want to be out there like that. When you're younger, they just want to be out all night. But when you get older, it's like, I'm ready to move on. Yeah, he's talking about doing the X-Files. Magical Mermaids in the building. Word of mouth. It will give people a reason to return to theaters. Yeah, most vampire movies are corny, but not this one. And I saw some people comparing Sinners to Nope. I disagree. I felt like Note was too big for its britches. It was trying too hard to be like this big grandiose thing about aliens. I just think that Jordan Peele just did not execute the movie the way it needed to be executed. So I was left disappointed. With this film, it's just so enriched in this story and culture. And the vampires, in my opinion, I felt was a metaphor for colonization. This vampire played by Jack O'Connell comes along, and they said, like, when you hear someone's voice so powerful that it pierces the veil between the good and evil, so it's sort of like the our world and the underworld or something or another. And so this kid Sammy's voice draws this vampire to him, and he's like, I have to have him. I have to be able to get that. So to me, when I was looking at the film, people get so caught up, oh, vampire, vampire. I'm like, can y'all actually take the time to dig deep and really pay attention to the story that's being told rather than, oh, vampires, I want to see people get eaten and killed. I'm like, that's corny. Like, we've seen enough of that. But when you look at that whole story, it's sort of like the metaphor of what the vampire meant for this story. It was about, he needed to have something that this other child adapted. I need to have him. I need to have his power. I need to have his gift. And then when you see like the history of blues spilled out, which we know blues, rock and roll, country music, hello Beyonce with Cowboy Carter, the roots of that music stems from Black people in Africa. All them drums, banjo was made in Africa, was brought over to the United States. So when you spill all of that out, they're trying to remind you of the history of people of color, particularly Black people, and the origin of where that music stems from, and how over the years it has been gentrified and colonized and taken from us and watered down into this other thing. And then even at one point, Jack O'Connell's character has his own little musical number, and how you hear like how his music differentiates from the blues music. So I think there were some people that were being critical of it that missed the whole point of what the film was about. Yes, getting suspended, she is suspended. Usually they expect movies for adults to bomb because family films do better. It depends on the movie. I won't say like all family, all that people want to, that makes money as family films. They'll make a lot more because they have not just them, but kids and everybody else that they got to spend money on. And tickets be too damn expensive, which is why I think a lot of times parents will pick and choose which movies they will take their kids to go see. So not all movies do, but look, because there's some adult movies that do well. Interview with a Vampire and Bram Stoker's are my favorite. I'm glad you didn't say Nosferatu because I was so bored with that. I told you I saw that movie the other day on Peacock and I fell asleep on it. The apps, metadata. Wait, did I miss something? What does that mean? You said the apps. Oh, you said Mickey 17 had a Mark Ruffalo type Trump character. People said they want to escape the world, but too many movies hit hard. Well, I don't know. I always thought that movie is supposed to, reflect the times. I didn't say biggest box office opening. I was talking about that. I was talking about the score, the cinema score that they received from Rotten Tomatoes for an R-rated film. That was like that's what it received, not box office opening. Because if that was the case, it'd make more money than that. Hola, chismosa. If Chris isn't giving spoilers, he wants the film to be a huge success. That is true, because I do be spoiling shit on here. But yeah, I don't want to reveal like who survived, who didn't, and the post-credit scenes and all that stuff. Because there's two. I like Warrior too. I was mad when they canceled that, but now we're supposed to be getting a show, a TV version of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Hopefully that will not suck. But yeah, they need to bring that back. And speaking of which, I heard the guy Andrew Koji, who played the lead in Warrior. I heard that he's up for that. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't do research. They said him and Kit Connor from Heartstopper are up for roles in Street Fighter. But they're doing a Street Fighter remake. Look, if they do a Street Fighter remake, I would love that. Please don't suck like the Jean-Claude Van Damme one. But I guess it all depends on the success of Mortal Kombat. Minecraft movie starring the delusion. Yeah, we don't particularly care for Jack. I'm like, Jack Black just be doing terrible movies. Wasn't he also in that Jumanji movie? I watched the video, Ticketmaster Live Nation better pay attention. The live music industry, of course, yeah, it is dying. They got to figure out something. Need to show Sinners, Sinners is in IMAX. It's in IMAX. It's in Dolby. It's in like all the general. I even heard it's in 4DX. Like Ryan Coogler was pretty much. I think he put that movie in like every screen that you could think of. Well, yeah. Well, first of all, they need to bring them damn prices down because anybody got time to be paying $400 for no damn tickets. Azealia Banks said Madonna compares herself to Gaga. Check. What? First of all, Azealia, can you go play in traffic or jump in front of a train? Nobody gives a fuck what that ugly bitch got to say. I'm sick of her. Gen X dinner show, people. And you said hello. Have you listened to Addison Rae's new Madonna? Well, look, everybody's been sending it to me. I heard a little bit of it. It was all right. Everybody's inspired by Madonna. Of course they are. I thought it was going to be like that blues player that sold his soul to the. Oh, yeah, I can see why some people would think that. Vampires have always been a metaphor for capital and the ruling class sucking up to the lifeblood of the working class, sexual degenerate rich kid. Yeah, I think people just miss the point. They just see like vampires and they just think, "Ooh, scary movie," and it's like, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what people be expecting sometimes. Just like I don't know what the hell a lot of people was expecting when it comes to this Drag Race finale, which we're gonna get into towards the end of the show because I got a lot to say on that. And also, what do you think of the viral videos of Gen Z Alpha throwing popcorn and screaming excitement? I think we talked about that. That at the Minecraft screenings, but I think I mentioned it in passing. At the Minecraft shows, there have been people out here that have just been acting up. They've been assaulting the ushers and people that work in the theater, which I'm sorry, but y'all asses will be locked up. And they got the security guards, they got cops, all of them. Like when I used to work at AMC, like the security we had up in there did not play. They will body slam your ass in a minute. And on top of that, they walked around with handcuffs and a gun. So New York City security, they don't be playing. And they be having the cops come up in there, and we not the one I worked at, which was at the one in Times Square, Empire 25. They'd have a lot of the police being there in no time because first of all, they hang out in that whole area anyway. On was it 42nd? Yeah, 42nd between 7 and 8. There's a lot of police that be in the area, so they be in there in like 2 seconds. And there was one video that I saw online where somebody posted. They popped off on fireworks in the theater. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Like y'all sitting here doing this dumbness where y'all up in here. I understand if you're excited to watch a movie, but to me, that would be a film I would just watch at home. Or there's certain movies where it's just like I'd rather just wait for it comes on streaming or whatever. Speaking of which, I just saw that damn, what's that movie? Companion? That's already on streaming. I went over on HBO Max the other day and I'm like, wait a minute, Companion's out already up here? I told her they move fast with the streaming. So I gotta watch that movie. I haven't seen that yet. People acting up. And so to answer your question, I don't like it. I just think it's stupid. I just think that people need to have respect for when you go and watch a movie. If I'm watching something, I want to be into it. But unless they want to do like unless it was something similar to like what's the name? Wicked, where it's like interactive and you want to sing along. If they do something like that, then okay. But I don't like that. People acting up in the theater need to save it for the Rocky Horror Midnight. Oh yeah, they still have those. And I love Rocky Horror. You asked about how oh, sometimes I be saying stuff and it's out of sight, out of mind. But you somehow when I asked about ticket sales and race. Yeah, because I was like, how the hell they know all of that? Letterboxd has Sinners at a 4.7 out of 5 rating. Well, I'm guessing that's good if you're saying it's 4.7 out of 5. I wonder why they didn't give it a full 5 points. I saw people wear lots of Kylie and Cammy shirts. Funny enough, I didn't see any Cammy shirts. I saw a lot of Kylie shirts. I even had one dude that had like a beard. First of all, he looked a mess. But I'm glad you committed to the outfit. He had the "Can't Get You Out of My Head" white jumpsuit with the hoodie, and then he had like a beard and the makeup. They had the lipstick on. I was like, girl, if you was gonna come out here and do a little bearded drag number, at least if you don't have any drag friends, you could have had them like make you look decent. But for committing to the outfit, Jack Black is Hollywood's second range. Yes, she is. We love Kylie Minogue as Cammy in Street Fighter. I heard it was good, but I definitely need to check it out. I'm gonna try to see if I can watch it I might watch it tonight. Now that Gen Z has come to age, they tend to do collective reaction a lot in 2022 with the Minions movies. They showed up in Suits in 2023 with the Barbie movie and Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and now this. It's weird, but I mean, I don't mind if y'all show up in like costumes and stuff. Because look, when I worked at AMC 10 years ago, give or take, if I can't remember, you know what? Damn, it actually was 10 years ago. Um, they people would show up in like costumes and stuff to dress like to resemble the movie and all that other stuff. So there's nothing wrong with showing up in full costume, but when y'all be doing the popping off, you know fireworks and things of that nature, I'm just like, okay, y'all need to relax. All right, so now we were talking about Ryan Coogler earlier. Let's talk about Ryan Coogler. We were talking about Sinners. And so now with the success of Sinners and it being in theaters and it's taking the number 1 spot away from Minecraft, now the word on the street, and I totally forgot about this actually, that they said that Ryan Coogler's looking at revisiting a X-Files reboot and said that he has even been speaking with members of the original cast on possibly returning. So now Coogler recently gave an update on his upcoming reboot of The X-Files, which he revealed is immediately next for him, noted that he's spoken to the great Gillian Anderson about the series, saying she's incredible, fingers crossed there, said Coogler on last podcast on the left. I love how that's a take on The Last House on the Left, which still the original movie. I cannot watch that film. It feels too real watching that. Like it almost feels like a documentary. If y'all have not seen that movie, I'm trying to remember who directed it. Was that Wes Craven? I think it was. But last House on the Left was a mess. And I'm not talking about the remake. I'm talking about the original one from the 70s. So now, I've been excited. He says, quote, I've been excited about that for a long time and I'm fired up to get back to it. Some of those episodes, if we do our jobs right, will be really effing scary. We're going to try to make something really great, bro, and really be something for the real X-Files fans and maybe find some new ones. Now, following news of Coogler's reimagining, Anderson says she cannot think of a better way around for a reboot to happen, calling the filmmaker a bit of a genius, saying, quote, whether I am involved in it is a whole other thing. I'm not saying no. I think he's really cool. And I think if he did it, it would probably be done incredibly well. And maybe I'll pop in for a little something, something. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, X-Files was on Fox. It was a show that ran for 9 seasons. It was on from 1993 to 2002, and it starred 2 FBI agents by the name of Gillian Anderson, played by Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny. They played Mulder and Scully, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, to be exact. And they basically were investigating cases of the paranormal. And Chris Carter created the show, was very much hands-on with it. They came out with 2 movies. It was The X-Files and X-Files I Want to Believe. I like the X-Files movie that came out in 1998. I Want to Believe, which came out 10 years later in 2008, wasn't that good. But for the most part, I did like the fact that they tried to expand the franchise beyond the show. And I like the X-Files for the episodes that I've seen. I don't remember seeing a lot of the episodes because I was always in and out of the X-Files. But I'm like, damn, maybe I need to search my TV. I'm sure all the seasons on Hulu. I'm thinking about revisiting the X-Files. But I did also hear a lot of the haters on social media who were like, oh, well, now they're going to have Ryan Coogler coming in direct. He's going to make it, whoa. I'm like, here these racist incel basement dwellers go. Well, y'all want to run around here because a black man is a fan of a show and is like, I have a take on the franchise where I want to bring Dana Scully. He ain't say nothing about Fox Mulder, but y'all can bring him back too, or incorporate them in some sort of way, but also bring in maybe a new generation or two new FBI agents, but you have Fox and Dana in it in some sort of way that could make it work. And if he has a cool idea, then I'm here for it. But why people immediately, the minute you see somebody that's of a different race behind something, y'all want to start with the wokeness, y'all want to start with this, y'all want to start with, like, go play in traffic. So Ryan Coogler has an amazing track record. Every movie that he has done so far, I've absolutely liked, from Fruitvale Station on to Sinners. I mean, yeah, Wakanda Forever, I know was a mixed bag for a lot of people, but for the most part, Ryan Coogler has been relatively consistent in the quality films that he has given us over his short career in the industry. And I'm definitely would love to see his take on the X-Files and see if he can introduce a whole new audience to the franchise. And hearing this made me want to actually revisit the X-Files, because y'all already know I'm in a place in my life where I've just been revisiting a lot of old shows. Like I'm rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm rewatching Supernatural. I'm rewatching like a lot of the shows and Living Single, New York Undercover. Like I'm watching a lot of old shows that I grew up with back in the day. And so I may add X-Files to that list. All because I wasn't thinking about it before, but now that Ryan Coogler has gotten judging up this whole situation, I'm like, this might be a cool movie for him to check out. And if he can give us a whole new, like, if he's got a great idea and he can bring in new people as well as the old original fans, then I don't know why people are all, got their tits in a twist. Excuse me, over this whole situation. So, but also I am curious about this. So if he's talking about the X-Files his next project, then what's going on with Black Panther 3? What's happening with that? Because didn't he say something that we should be getting Black Panther 3 and that Denzel let it slip that he was supposed to be in Black Panther 3 and that Ryan Coogler is working on a part for him or something other, and people started speculating exactly what part he would be playing. So I hope that we will still get a Black Panther sequel and Denzel will be a part of it some way. And that, who knows, maybe will they pass down the torch or come up with an interesting idea? Or are we waiting, to bring in a new Black Panther? Because I don't know if they're going to keep Shuri as Black Panther. I just don't feel like people are really even though she does become Black Panther in the comics, is for some reason comic book stuff, cinematic universe comic book stuff, completely different. So just because something is comic book accurate, which I know a lot of times you incels like to pick and choose, which I want to take from comic book accuracy or not. Like a lot of y'all complaining about Silver Surfer being female, and it's like, have y'all never read a Fantastic Four comic? And then somebody, well, she only lasted about this amount of time. Who gives a good goddamn? The fact of the matter is she exists in the comics. So who cares if somebody had like a Dame Judi Dench in the what was that movie where she played Queen Elizabeth? That she had like a 5-minute cameo. The fact of the matter is she's a part of the IP. So why y'all bitching? So to get down there, because I just realized I'm kind of determined, but y'all got what I meant when I was saying it. So to wrap all this up, I'm excited for this. Hopefully this will happen soon. I'm definitely looking forward to not only if Ryan Coogler is going to actually get this X-Files idea up and running, but also I'm here for another Black Panther. When are we getting that? Why minds want to know? Do we have to wait until after Secret Wars for a new Black Panther movie? Or y'all trying to let enough time pass that y'all could be like, we get ourselves a new T'Challa? Y'all gonna use the sun? Or we going into a different multiverse and picking out another Black Panther? I don't know. We'll just have to see. So I got a lot of questions apparently. So I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this story? Are you here for Ryan Coogler coming on board to direct his idea or whatever idea he has behind the X-Files? So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Brown Buddy says X-Files my jam. Always felt more like Mulder, but Scully was really, yes, she was. I always liked Scully. But yeah, I like Fox Mulder too, because he was all about, he was truly a believer. Scully was always a skeptic. So she started to believe, later on, but she always had that bit of skepticism that I actually like. Not Paul Mooney. May he rest in peace. That Paul Mooney joke where he said that Michael Jackson was a PDF. But he was X-Files. Yeah, Paul Mooney, child, I miss him. I was, in these dire times, there are 3 comedians that I wish that were alive today that I would love to hear their take on the way of the world. And that would be Paul Mooney, Joan Rivers, and George Carlin. Those are the 3. Silver Surfer, boring character. I mean, boring AF character, man or woman. And the funny enough, when I was seeing the effect of Silver Surfer, played by Julia Garner, by the way, I saw some people, and one of my friends pointed out, one of my film school friends pointed out that, and when he said, I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. They said she looked like a T-1000. So, and I'm like, you know what? She actually do look like the T-1000. Whereas when you look at the rise of Silver Surfer, which was in that horrible sequel one with Jessica Alba, that Silver Surfer looked way better than this Silver Surfer. So hopefully by the time Fantastic Four comes out in theaters, they would have cleaned up what Silver Surfer looks like. That somebody is taking the critiques online and y'all will give her a Sonic the Hedgehog makeover, because that's what we definitely need. I Want to Believe too. I didn't like I Want to Believe, but I do like the X-Files. Even that damn theme song, Thanks for Last House Warning. I saw the remake in theaters and had to curse out some young people for bringing kids. Yeah, why the hell would you bring someone to see Last House on the Left? Do y'all know that movie's about sexual assault? Like, what the hell's wrong with y'all? And they leaving a woman for dead? Like, are y'all crazy? That is not a movie you bring. But I said, like, the original one is so brutal because it felt like a snuff film almost. Like if the way that it was filmed, I guess maybe in the 70s there was this big documentary style that they were doing in regards of horror. Maybe because it was just, when you made horror movies, it was low budget. So maybe that was the reason why they did that. But when I would look at a lot of those films, it was just like that. The Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like when you look at a lot of those films, it always had this documentary feel to it, which made it, in my opinion, even more scary. Now y'all gonna make me want to watch those movies later on tonight. um, oh yeah, and I had to rewatch the first season of The Last of Us so that way I can go into season 2 because I totally forgot like a lot of stuff that happened because it was off for so long. HBO, y'all need to get it together in regards of when y'all start filming stuff and when y'all release it. Y'all should not have people waiting 2 damn years for a show. My favorite era of horror films is 2000s body horror. Body horror, I get grossed out by it, but for some reason I like watching it. I guess I like a train wreck. But yeah, I was into that whole thing with like what was like some of the movies? I didn't like The Human Centipede. I just like, you're not putting unless I want to eat your behind. That's the only time that my face should be in between somebody's cheeks. But so you need consent. Don't be trying to sew my face up to somebody's butt. But Hostel. I even like Hostel too. And those type of movies. The Descent. So yeah, I like those. Or didn't they call it Gorno? You was like Gore Boom. I remember they called it Gorno, which I'm sure y'all can guess what that was taken from. Child, let's get into this mess. So now, word on the street. Remember we was talking about the Bodyguard and the fact that they were looking at Taylor Swift to be to take on the role that was originated by Whitney Houston. Well, now the word is that producers is looking at none other than sex tape icon and fading reality star Kim Kardashian. And when I heard this story, I'm like, who are these producers? And if y'all pick her to be in this movie, y'all all need to be put out of a damn job. So, according to The Blast, they said that Kim Kardashian's dream to break into serious acting might be getting closer than ever, as an insider has revealed that she's being eyed for the Bodyguard remake. The original The Bodyguard movie starred the late Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner as her devoted bodyguard and was hugely successful. The film also, that's because Whitney Houston was a huge star based and was known for her talent. And we ain't never seen Whitney Houston taking it up, from behind, laying down on her stomach, moaning and groaning on the bed while she was taking black peen from behind. We ain't seen Whitney like that. So that's why the movie was successful, because we like Whitney as the voice. She is the voice. So the film also featured top-selling soundtrack, including hits such as I Will Always Love You and Run to You. And don't forget that Michelle Visage, RuPaul's Drag Race, had a song on that album. The Bodyguard soundtrack was track 9. If there ain't anybody that's not going to remind you that she got a song on the Bodyguard soundtrack, is Michelle Visage. So now, earlier this month, reports revealed that a remake of The Bodyguard was in the works, with Sam Wrench, who directed Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, set to hold directorial duties. Hence, many Swifties thought Tay would get the lead role, but that isn't going to be the case if the insider's words are to be believed. An insider told us, they told them, I think they told the Daily Mail this. So if they told this to the Daily Mail, I will say take this with a grain of salt. They are a tabloid. I wouldn't necessarily believe everything that comes out of them, but let's just go along with it because it's out there in these streets. We're going to entertain it, and I'm going to give my opinion. So now, they said that, they told the Mail on Sunday, that will be today, that Kardashian is the preferred candidate to take Houston's role in the Bodyguard remake. I can't even read that with a straight damn face. Now, they said the source, whom the outlet describes as impeccable, impeccably high and delusional, everyone immediately assumed Tay would get the lead, the role played by Whitney Houston in the original film. Because the Bodyguard remake is being directed by Sam Wrench, they said Warner Brothers, the studio remaking the original, is very keen on Kim. They have already been there have already been multiple meetings, and the script has been written with Kim in mind. Now, the insider also shed light on the direction the remake would take, noted that it wouldn't be a musical as many people assume. Well, if you're going to put Kim Kardashian in it, obviously you're going from a social media influencer standpoint, because when you really look at it, and here's the thing, I kind of like that angle of if they're going to do the Bodyguard remake, that is not, you don't do a direct remake, meaning, oh, we have to pick a singer. You can make it an actress. You can make it a social media influencer, because quiet as it's kept, social media influencers are surpassing talented singers, actors, wherever it is. Everybody got a damn social media platform. Everybody's got a channel. Everybody's blogging. Everybody. Am I reading myself? It's like, but look, here's the thing. Unlike some of these bros that just jumped on the line and started doing this yesterday, I'm doing this in 2026. It'll be 20 years that I've been doing different iterations of celebrity news, gossip, blogging, that sort of thing. So I've been doing this since 2006. So I'm gonna toot my own horn, damn it. Just because y'all heard of me today don't necessarily mean I started today. So yeah, they said that everyone is assuming the remake will be a musical, but there has been talk of making a sequel for years, and most of the talk has been about taking it in a different direction, using a global celebrity, but not necessarily having it be having as musical, more straightforward drama. Let's face it, how can you top Whitney? You can't. So if you're gonna do something else, and you don't want to be compared to the Whitney one, I say, like, yeah, if you're going to do a Bodyguard remake, change it up. Make the character something different than what people already gotten. So don't necessarily go into like a singer. Like I said, you could do an actor. And if you're going to pick someone like a Kardashian, maybe it could be a social media influencer type. Someone who became famous with their own channel, has become personable, whatever the case is, because of their social media, that sort of thing. And they have like somebody who's trying to unalive them for whatever reason, because they do put a lot of their lives out there. They put them lives online. They have a reality show, and the reality show is spun off this global brand. So you can have a Kim Kardashian type, but to put a Kim Kardashian in it, first of all, she can't act her way out of a goddamn paper bag. So I don't know why y'all think you're gonna put Miss Vocal Fry right in a movie and think that we want to hear that annoying ass voice of hers with all that fix or flat she got in her ass and her face. And you think we want to sit and watch all of that for 2 damn hours? Hell no. I think if you can take the idea of an influencer, or maybe hire, I don't know, are there any influencers out there who actually are pretty good actors or can act? Or you can hire an actor to portray a social media influencer. Like maybe I was going to say Sydney Sweeney. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to see Sydney Sweeney in that role. We need somebody. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I'm getting like, you can get a Kim Kardashian type, someone that kind of embodies all that, but is a much better actress. Because I know like Kim is out here trying to prove herself to be an actor. She's got this new show that she has coming out, this lawyer show that I know that she's working on with Ryan Murphy, and she's got all these other ideas. I heard that she's also got another show in development with her and Lala Anthony, that they're both working on a project together. So Kim is out here trying to assert herself in the Hollywood movie and TV space. The thing is, when you have such an iconic IP like The Bodyguard, I know I'm not the only one that's having these reservations about it. That's feeling like, no, we don't want to see her in this show. We're sick and tired. No shade. I'll speak to me now. I'm sick and tired of these goddamn Kardashians, including Bruce. I'm sick of seeing all of them on my screen. I'm tired of them always being in the media, always in the news. Every time I turn around, it's something with them. It's something with Coogler. It's something with that little bulldagger child Northwest. I'm tired of all of them. So when y'all allegedly bulldagger, but I'm tired of seeing all of them on my damn screen. I need them to sashay away, go play in a ditch somewhere. I'm tired of seeing them on my, every time I turn around, there's always a story about them. They always try to find a way to stay in the damn spotlight, including Chris and that man she hunching with them baby making hips. It's like, I'm tired of all of them. So I'm not the only one that feels these trepidations about the fact that no, nobody wants to see Kim in this film. Nobody wants y'all to. First of all, there's people out here when I talked about The Bodyguard being remade. There's a lot of people who's against this movie being remade. Why y'all always gotta remake stuff? Why can't we have nothing original? You want to know something? There have been how many original IPs that I've been talking about on this show, and a lot of y'all just let it flop at the box office. Hence why Hollywood's like, you know what? We got to start looking at old stuff. We got to revive the Gremlins. We got to give y'all a Goonies sequel. We got to revive the Matrix. We have to, make all these different movies that existed in the past. We got to reboot every damn thing because y'all not going to the movies to see the Companions and all these other films and the Mickey 17s and all these other movies that we're making original programs of. Y'all not going to see it. Y'all wait until they come out on streaming. Now, now I already went on my rant about how I feel about it. So look, several fans have reacted to the news, and here's what they said. They said that on a pop culture Reddit post, and they said, and look, like I said, I don't have to read it, and most people already expressed their disappointment. I think y'all trying to fish and see if how people gonna react. Y'all know y'all ain't thinking about this girl being a part of it, but let me read what the people said. So one person said, yeah, I don't dislike Kim K or anything, but does she even sing? Whitney is a legend, and that song for The Bodyguard is iconic. The role needs to go to a great vocalist, not just anyone that can sing that song. And so this is why people got in their brain that because of what The Bodyguard was about, they can't see past that. You know what? We're just taking The Bodyguard name. We're taking the concept of what the plot of the movie was about, but we're making some changes to our version and not necessarily making it about a singer. So people still in their brain think when you say The Bodyguard, they associate it with Whitney, and they're going to think that, oh, so it's going to be another thing about music because people don't know, people can't see past what has already existed. So they don't know what kind of direction y'all want to take with it. But according to the report, they're saying that it's not necessarily, they're not going in the same direction of the original movie. So another person compared Kim starring as the lead in The Bodyguard to the disastrous Snow White movie starring Rachel Ziegler and Gal Greenstein Godot. They said, I see they want to give Snow White a run for their money. Another person wrote, Kim is buying her way into Hollywood, anything to feed that thirsty ass ego of hers. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you when you write. This is the first time there has been discussion about a remake of The Bodyguard. They said last year, Kevin Costner appeared on the Howard Stern show and talked about there was going to be plans for the film sequel involving Princess Diana, who, passed away in a car accident. So I never made the movie because I could not replace Princess Di. He also revealed that the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, put him in touch with Princess Di and shared how their conversation started. He said, look, I'm going to do Bodyguard 2, and I think I can build this around you. Would you be interested? And she said yes. So there was going to be an idea of them doing it around him protecting an actual princess. That would have been interesting to see if Princess Di was going to act in the movie. But the question remains, would that even been allowed by Camelot? Like, would they allow? Oh, look, you a princess. But then again, she probably wasn't with them at the time. She was probably divorced from Prince Charles. I was going to be shady because word on the street is that man is on death's door. So I'm not going to, windmill too hard on him. I'm going to give him a little break. Being that him and that whole family is a hot ass mess. But look, like I said before, to wrap all this up, if you want this movie to flop at the box office harder than Gayle King and Katy Perry's trip into space, then go ahead and cast Kim. Because no, this is a chop right here and there. So if y'all want y'all movie to flop, yeah, cast her in it. So I said, oh, this is say it look like I'm not the only one that is not here for this remake. A lot of people jumped on the line and said they're not here for Kim K. The bad enough, look, I have a choice of whether or not I could change the channel in regards to her popular anything. I didn't even finish that season that she did of American Horror Story because her acting is a horror story within itself. So I didn't even finish that damn season. Number one, the season was terrible. And number two, she was not that great in it, even though she was kind of playing a version of herself and her mother. But anyway, so I want to hear from y'all in regards to, would you be here for Kim being in a Bodyguard remake? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Child, I don't know where all that damn reading came from, but this is like, okay, so what's the people saying? Maybe she agreed to get paid on the back. Well, we know, what back end you talking about. It ain't the regular Hollywood back end. And who gonna do the singing? Jennifer Lopez. The script has been written with Kim K in mind. No one is gonna take this serious. Okay. I was like, I know. Well, maybe it was written. I'm gonna try to read between the lines. The script was written with Kim K in mind, but not with Kim K starring in the film. That is what I'm going to take from it. Because I think that they had an idea. Let's make The Bodyguard be about someone protecting an influencer, like one of the biggest influencers on the planet, rather than, actually getting a Kim Kardashian. Child, quiet as it's kept. I'd rather y'all just hire Paris Hilton before y'all hire her. Maybe it won't be about a music star, but yes, a social star. That's what I said. With social media being what it is today, I think that it would probably be more relatable if you made the star an influencer, because it's like, who do you get? I mean, the only one I can think of that's actually a good singer and actress, but they've already done like musical type stuff. Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande. And then how do you make it so different? Because Lady Gaga would have to be that pop star type. She's already done that. She's floated between so many different genres. What type of music would you make her do that would make her stand out from the things she did? Because when Whitney Houston did the movie, she wasn't doing songs like Queen of the Night, which I love that damn song. And that outfit she had on. Yeah, Chris reads Chris. Is that if they ever put Kim Kardashian in a remake of The Bodyguard, then they should just throw the whole internet on it, okay? Because no one is, not Stormy Kardashian, no one is feeling this idea, okay? Okay, Bruce is always gonna catch a damn stray on this damn show, hanging out with Christy Nome and freaking Pam Bondi and that old drunk over there at Fox News, Janine Pirro. They need to check her snatch, because I think that's where she had her damn flask in between commercials. I just ate a. Wait, are you saying I just ate a stack of pancakes? Had to tell. Look, I had a glass of wine before I started the show. Some red wine. That's probably why I'm a little loose. I said little loose today. Okay. Yes, F no. Maybe the movie Drop. I have not seen Drop. Don't do a spoiler, because here's the thing. Drop is getting comparisons to the movie Red Eye with Cillian Murphy. I'm trying to remember the actress that was in that movie. And I'm like, don't tell me there's a twist where the guy that she's actually dating is kind of like in on the whole situation. Because that's what I'm like, damn, could y'all not spoil the damn movie for me? And I'm talking about like the people not it's like critics or some of the things I was reading the headlines. But I definitely want to see it though. Anyway, let's move on, y'all. Where we go? Oh, let's talk about Miss Lady Gaga, who performed for the second weekend of Coachella, and her set had a freaking malfunction during Abracadabra. I don't know what is going on, but every time I come over to this, it kept like hold on, let me see if every time I go over to this TikTok page, if there was like an issue with it. So speaking of issues, Lady Gaga apparently while she was performing Abracadabra, her headset that she had on started glitching and it was cutting off. And the children were gagging over it, but look, here's the thing. At least you knew her ass was singing, that it wasn't a big old backing track, because when that mic cut out, you did not hear her. You ain't hear no backing track, you didn't hear nothing. All you heard was the music. And so, but I thought everybody pretty much knew that Lady Gaga sang live. First of all, she has a great voice. We know she can sing her ass off. Like, to me, she is very much like Pink in that way. Where it's like, oh no, with these pipes, I'm not giving y'all a full on drag show. Now, although I will say this, when you doing all that crazy dancing and stuff, you do need help with like a backing track and the background singers and all that other stuff. But for the most part, what you gonna hear is these pipes coming through that mic. So I want to play all this clip courtesy of what's his name, Anthony Villafan, over on the TikTok. We had the clip, and we'll come back and talk. Please hold. So the dances and stuff going here. She had no mic. The headset wasn't working, and then as she's coming down, then you pretty much see she's got somebody came real quick with that damn microphone. But I think it wasn't just her that was having mic issues or issues in general at Coachella. I know that another person who had some issues and stuff at Coachella when I was watching it, it was what's her name? Missy Elliott. When I was watching Missy Elliott, I noticed that her performance as well. Like there was, I don't know if it was the camera angles or something going on, but I felt like her show during week one was much better during week two. Because I did watch her performance again. Lady Gaga's I really didn't get to watch because it was just like a lot going on. First of all, y'all was taking too damn long to do y'all setup. After I watched the Missy Elliott performance for a second time on Friday, because I was like, I watched Drag Race, I watched Missy Elliott, and then by the time Gaga came on, I was getting tired. So I was like, I don't even care about waiting anymore. So I put something else on because when between those in between sets, y'all be taking too damn, especially on YouTube. I get that the people that's standing out there in Coachella in the cold, because yes, it gets cold in California once that damn sun goes down. I know it was a lot for y'all to just be standing out there waiting for her to do the setup, but us having to sit there and watch this little thing in between the sets, I was getting annoyed. So I turned it off. So now later during the show, while sitting before a piano, they said that Gaga addressed the mishap and said, "I'm sorry my mic was broken for a second. At least you know I sing live," she said with a laugh, then adding, "I guess all we can do is our best, and I'm certainly giving you my best tonight." And you know what? I like the fact that she acknowledged it. First of all, we know that Lady Gaga sings her ass off. Lady Gaga is going to give you a show. Lady Gaga is going to make sure that y'all know that she is one of the hardest working girls out here in the game. And I think she wants to be in the same conversations as a Beyonce, as a Madonna, as and those artists who pretty much when they get up there and they give you a live show, they're going to give you the full live show experience. They're going to give you 110%. They're not going to slack off like a lot of these new girls that's coming up where I'm saying y'all giving the bare minimum. Tyler, like when I be watching her, I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Or what are you not doing? Because you were giving me a dry ass performance. And there was a couple of them and I was like, whatever. You know who I just started, who I've listened to her music before, but I kind of like never really kept her on my radar of like paying attention. But now she's on my radar and I've been obsessed with her for the past couple of days. Marina from Marina and the Diamonds. Why have I been sleeping on this girl? When I started listening to her, I was like, I watched her set. That was another set that I watched actually too. When I watched her set and I'm sitting there listening to those, I'm like, oh my God, these songs are good. And I like her little outfit. She looked cute and everything. And then I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of, and I'm just like listening to the layering of her voice and like when she does certain things, how it's like they're earworms. She puts out a lot of really good music. So I think like Marina is definitely somebody we need to check out. I know she has a new album coming out soon too. So, no shade. I saw some people, speaking of shade, I saw some people say, oh, when she was saying that, she was referring that to Blackpink's Lisa. And I'm sitting there like, first of all, Lady Gaga wasn't saying that. What she was saying in general is like, yeah, I'm not up here lip syncing and those other stuff like these. Like, I guess other artists do, because y'all know that there be a lot of y'all to be up there that don't be singing live. And there is a technique. Like I told y'all back in the day when Destiny's Child first started out, Matthew used to have them girls running on a treadmill, and so that way they could work on their breath control. And that definitely does help. So they were trying, so it's like, yeah, when I get up on stage and I'm doing all these other things, you got to know how to pace yourself and catch your breath in between, like when you're trying to hit all those notes. Because I'm not going to be up here being like out of breath and I need a whole backing track to over, to overshadow what I'm doing or to do the singing for me. And I remember that Robert, friend to the show, said that Lady Gaga needs to rely on lip syncing and stuff. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know why it is that there's a big issue about people lip syncing and stuff when they perform. But then again, y'all be wanting perfection when people get up there and start performing any damn way. So it's like you can't win to lose, I guess. And I don't mind lip syncing too much if you're gonna give me high energy choreography. I don't mind it too much, but I don't know, to each his own. So yeah, there's that. So I want to hear from you all. What did you think of the story? Did you actually see Lady Gaga's second weekend show where she played, a lot of songs from Mayhem, and she gave basically the same damn show that y'all saw at Coachella the previous week? There was some glitches and stuff that was going on, but she recovered and it all worked out. I'm glad that week 1 went off without a hitch. It just see week 2, I don't know what the hell was going on with the audio, but things happen because it's live, and when you perform, there are going to be issues that happen. I know some people saying she was irritated. It's like, yeah, but you got to be a professional. I'm sure she cussed somebody out or probably had herself a Beyonce moment. Someone is getting fired. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, so yeah, thank you. Because y'all said it was Rachel McAdams. I cannot remember her name. Yep, I got it again. Not. What you talking about, Jinx? We have one Jinx. Oh, y'all talking about Jinx as in y'all both said the same name at the same time. At least this didn't happen during week. I know, because if it happened during weekend 1, they would have just been. It would have been a whole damn issue. I'm glad that weekend 1 went on without a hitch. Weekend 2, it's a different story. You couldn't find something else to do while waiting for her set to start. He said, I went to sleep and set an alarm for Lana's set time. I was charging my phone. You said, I don't play about Marina. I've been obsessed with her music since I was 8. The Homosexuals will be having a Marina summer this year. Okay, because she got a new album coming out. And so, like, I started listening to a lot of her music for the past couple of days. It was like, ever since I saw that performance, I was like, okay, girl, you on my radar now. And the funny enough, I listened to her song at the gym all the damn time. Damn, I forgot the name of it. So now I gotta do the research because I be forgetting names and things. I was on a Madonna. I was also listening to like Madonna's Essentials and things of that nature. I was listening to Fruit, that album, Froot, and Bubblegum Bitch. That's another song that I love too. But wait, what is it? Oh, Radioactive. I don't know why I could not think of that damn song. First of all, that song always comes on my like when I'm what do you call it, like on the playlist, that song always comes on like when if I'm listening to like a workout playlist and stuff at the gym. So that's what got me into her in the beginning, but I never really like been like, oh yeah, let me listen to her album all the way through because I get so caught up in mixes and house mixes and all the other stuff. I need to start listening to albums a lot more often. But yeah, Radioactive always pops up in my damn radar. And Marina is a key. Oh, come on now. Or you said one of my top 5 faves, Britney lip synced, and she lip synced a lot. I mean, yeah, she got dragged for it a lot too. That Britney was relying on the lip syncing too much. But then again, this industry ruined her damn voice because they kept telling her to sing that stupid baby voice because she made it so popular on with Baby One More Time. And it's like, let the girl sing because we knew that Britney had a voice when we heard it back in the day, especially when she was on like Star Search and things of that nature. But then y'all, the way y'all made her come out here and just mess up her voice, now she sound like a hot ass man. But she could probably get it back if she took the time to take some lessons instead of that video where she was in the bathroom doing those weird yodeling noises. Remember that? Okay, so now let's go from. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I got all my old windows closed. Now, speaking of people lip singing for their life, we're gonna go from somebody who actually sings live to someone who relies on lip singing and a backing track. There's somebody here for Lopez, who basically they're talking about that she could be dragged into the Diddler's high-profile trafficking trial, as they said that prosecutors are seeking to use evidence from the infamous 1999 club shooting that led to, women when she got her mug shot and Diddy got his mug shot, and Sean ended up doing a decade in prison. So yeah, they talking about that. And you want to know something funny? When I was talking about this and back in the day, I could have sworn I've said many a times that I believe that people think that this is going to be something that plays into it. Could they possibly bring Hannaford into this conversation where she could end up having to testify against him in court? So, according to reports, Diddy's team is fighting to keep evidence from his infamous 1999 pow-powing at a club in New York out of the trial. So, Sean Diddy Combs' legal team is also making another last-minute effort to shape up their defense, including asking for his assault video against former girlfriend Cassie not to be admitted in court. Okay. And I think we're about what? 2-3 weeks away from him actually going to trial. Now they said Jennifer is likely to face questioning in Diddy's forthcoming trial as his legal team seeks to dismiss evidence related to a notorious 1999 shooting incident at a New York nightclub. Now Lopez and Diddy dated from 1999 to 2001 and enjoyed a series of lavish outings and glamorous appearances together. I hope he ain't put paws on her because like he liked to put hands on Cassie, allegedly Kim Porter, and some of the other women he's been with. The Bad Boy Records founder was accused of pow-powing a pow-pow in the shootout, and the pow-pow out. How many times I had to change that word? They said firing a gun in the shootout that led 3 people injured. After they left the club, they were chased down by the popo, who found a stolen pow-pow in the vehicle. Although Hanover wasn't charged, Diddy stood trial for gun and robbery charges, but was acquitted. Now, according to the Daily Mail, Diddy's lawyers want the incident to be excused from evidence in his upcoming trial, which is slated to begin in May. The fact that Diddy's team wants to block the 1999 club incident from being used in court means that Jennifer could be mentioned and potentially grilled in the trial. You think she can remember that far back? Now, Diddy's lawyers are challenging the testimony of a key witness in the infamous nightclub Pow Powing, saying the testimony was patently incredible because he claimed the rapper tried to bribe him. I think I remember that one. That they might be talking about. Are they referring to the guy that was actually in the? Oh yeah, it was the chauffeur, the one that was in the. Because I was thinking about that when he said that he was a key witness and he was bribed, and then he ended up getting locked up along with Diddy and all of them, and they wanted him to take the rap, and he said he refused. So. And then it turns out it was right because I didn't even read that part when it was somebody. Yeah, it was the chauffeur, his former chauffeur, Waldell Fenderson, who claimed he was asked to take the blame for the gun being found in the car. He revealed this in a documentary that I saw. I think it was the one that was on HBO Max. There was like a 5-part documentary or something, or docu-series or whatever on the whole Diddy thing. So now the rapper's lawyer said that his story was highly questionable because no $50,000 diamond ring Diddy supposedly used to try to bribe Fenderson was ever found. Assuming the story is true would be a fantastical assumption, Diddy's lawyers claim. His legal team has opposed prosecutors bringing up claims that he physically assaulted a record executive in New York in 1999. Among Diddy's lawyers' requests is for the court to exclude the video where he was seen hitting, stomping, and slapping his then girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, from the case, arguing that nobody could authenticate. How did nobody authenticate it? We saw the goddamn video. You know what? What is going on with these idiots that's running around saying, like, no, what you're seeing is not what you're seeing? How can you not authenticate the video? Is there no actual timestamp? Like when you get security footage that you actually paid for, so that way they wouldn't have it, but you kept it like an idiot instead of destroying the evidence. Because, sociopaths and egomaniacal maniacs like to keep mementos of things that they do to people. And we're not going to sit up here and try to act like Diddy ain't no grade A narcissist who likes to flaunt around his power and show off his dominance by trying to hover and overpower over people, be people on a lower tier than him in business or women that he was in relationship with because he couldn't truly be who he wants to be. And I do believe that Diddy is a part of the libidical community. That'd be LGBTQ. I do believe that he got some of those homosexual tendencies, but because of the industry in which he is in and the internalized homophobia within the Black community, especially when you're coming up in the whole, like with the religion and all this stuff that plays into it, and plus in those days in the 90s where it was not okay to be out and be your authentic self. I do think that there's some deep-rooted hatred within himself, and this is just off my feeling on the perception of what Diddy gives. I'm not saying that I actually witnessed him sleeping with men, although there's been a lot of people coming out saying stuff, whether it be these witnesses or other celebrities, where 50 Cent have made comments that imply that, you know what, Diddy got a little sugar in his tank. And the fact that you can't be your authentic self, that you have to use your money or force to get some from someone of the same gender because there's some underlining shame with being a homosexual, especially when you Black and playing in the place of hip hop. So now they said that they are accusing CNN of covering the timestamp and then changing the video sequence. It also includes speeding up the video to make it falsely appear that the actions of the video are taking place faster than they are. Who cares? The fact of the matter was he kicked her and he dragged her. It don't care about how y'all speed up the damn video. The action remains the same. So I don't care how y'all try to split it up or slice it or dice it or whatever you want to do to it. The reality is we saw with our own damn eyes in the video. You're not going to sit up here and convince us it's AI. You're not going to convince us that it's some weird changing timestamp thing, because if CNN did do that, I'm sure that they have the original footage and they would gladly admit it in court to show that, okay, now y'all trying to pull all these stunts and things. Now, if y'all are about all this, I'd be like, show the tape. Why you want to omit it from court? Saying that CNN doctored or did all these other things. If they doctored it, then you must have the proof. So why not show it? The world's already seen it. So it don't matter how many 12 people you put on that damn jury. They've already seen the freaking video. So they know. You're going to have to find somebody, I guess you're going to have to dig up somebody from their grave to put on that damn stand if they hadn't seen the video. Everybody's seen it. Whether you watch secular television or, legacy media, TV, regular TV, whatever, like you older, or you on the internet, everybody's seen the damn video. So now they said Diddy's lawyers also wanted the judge to prevent prosecutors from bringing up accusations that he beat up a record exec in New York in 1999. I'm trying to remember who was that record exec. I forgot he did. And I think it was the one that he said was that co-owned Bad Boy, and then there was like some force where he was forced to sign over his shares to Janice. Well, a lot of people saying is why Diddy is the way he is. They also said that Diddy was sentenced to anger management class for the incident after admitting to harassment at the time. So if y'all trying to talk about that he didn't do all these things, then why did he admit to it and go to anger management? And we've seen that damn docuseries where Diddy was involved in so many things. So that school situation that happened where all those people got crushed at that basketball game, to years of abuse and people who have complained about him, and nobody came out and said anything because, they were worried about they were going to lose out on the money. They were going to lose out on that association with all that power that Diddy had. When you were one of the most powerful people in the music industry, who's going against that? You can be disappeared like that with the quickness. So I hate when people say, also, because I always had to bring this in, well, why did they wait so long to come out? Y'all clearly ain't been around people with power. You clearly have not been in situations where power is this dominant force and how people thirst for that more than anything. And if you in a situation where you're making a lot of money from someone like Diddy, you think I'm a snitch? I'm going to end up blacklisted from the industry. I'm going to end up I'm not saying it's right, but people got their reasons. People got to be able to feed their family. There's not a lot of opportunities for people of color out here, especially in the entertainment space. People had to fight tooth and nail for all of that. And unfortunately, Diddy abused his damn power. And so, those people who bared witness to a lot of things he was doing, they're not going to say anything until that power is taken away from him. The minute that power is taken away, then they got the cojones to come out and say what needs to be said. So people need to try to understand that. And it's easy to be like, well, why didn't you come out and say something? Because I guarantee you, those same people saying that would not have the balls to come out and do the opposite. And meaning that you would not be able to come out and be the whistleblower. You would not. Because when that money is too good and them checks is clearing, and you live in a lavish life where you can drink all the Cristal that you want, eat all the caviar that you want, and you got a nice little apartment on Fifth Avenue, you gonna screw that up? Especially when a lot of times people of color don't get to see the kind of money that a Diddy sees. Nobody's gonna mess that up. So now they said also that Diddy's team highlighted what they believe to be the government strategy to take down the rapper. So now he's accusing the government trying to take him down, all this other stuff. And so no kind of accountability for the things that he's done. But look, y'all got plenty of time to prove all this in court. You got about 3 weeks before, you're about to stand trial. And we'll see if all these little, this little scam or whatever it is these little stunts y'all trying to pull is going to work. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that Jennifer Lopez will end up getting roped into Diddy's trial? There's been many stories that's been going around over the years that she could be. And especially since all the stuff about him came out, that there are people that feel that, yeah, they may bring up the 1999 club shooting. I don't understand what the 1999 club shooting has to do with, because we already went through that whole situation years ago and he got away with it. So I don't understand what the club shooting has to do with anything. I feel like we should be focusing on what's going on now, which is the alleged assaults that he has done to people over the years, and especially the fact that we heard that Cassie's going to be coming and standing trial because of what he did to her. Should be the focus, not this 1999 club shooting. So, wherever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mm-hmm. He said, plead the fifth. Okay. To get her, I'd trade J-Lo's career to keep Selena. Child. Matthew Redman wants Madonna to work with the artist she just saw in concert, saying she's a female U.S. Madonna fans can approve of. It's nothing personal, but us club kids know she's above most mainstream acts. Her music sounds better in clubs. She needs to stay there because the success is still there. Number one each time. Wait, who's the artist that she just saw in concert? Maybe she's looking for inspiration for a lot of these young people. I saw you were kind of jealous of my Silent Night, Deadly Night movie I have. I can send you my 2017 Blu-ray edition. Send it to me. You said Mariah worked with, well, who didn't work with the Diddler? I've seen the video. Diddy did. Exactly. We all seen the damn video numerous times. And then he went and posted some half-ass apology on social media. And then you wound up taking it back. You took it off Instagram. So we knew you was full of it. A video was going viral on TikTok this week where Ariana brought out and so what does this mean? That people are dragging her over this? People dragging, look, this was 2019. So we're 6 years later. People, let's not drag up old stuff. It's just like people just be digging up things and wanting to cause fights and all of that. It's like, look, it was 6 years ago. We just need to focus on what's going on now, because I'm sure a lot of people knew what was going on behind the scenes, but they don't say nothing because it's all about how their career. You know what I've always said? Our mother has lived. I think Anumbria is. Are you gagging over what Onyx said? As Wendy would go, Wendy Williams. He said no one was dragging it. It was 6 years ago. It was their that's not Blackiana. I thought people was trying to bring it up and talk about when like they were trying to cancel her over it. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, I did close that one because I was gonna make sure I close out all the once I'm done with a topic, I can close that out and focus on the next. And the next topic is Jennifer Lopez again, but this time her producing partner, I think a Nuyorican, what is it called? Nuyorican Film, Nuyorican Production. So yeah, her producing partner, Elaine Goldsmith Thomas, is spilling tea in her new book about all the insidious sexual shenanigans that goes on in the industry. And child, some of the stuff she's spilling up in here, I gagged. So let's get into it. So Elaine Goldsmith Thomas has drawn from her years in show business to write about, in her debut novel, Climbing in Heels. I wonder if she's putting it in like nonfiction terms. Well, not nonfiction. Nonfiction is true. Fiction is not true. So in fictional terms, it's funny, I have to always remember that. Fictional terms, whereas you created characters that are based off of certain celebrities, or you actually, having a sudden strike moment. Name them. Name them. Like, are you actually naming names? So the book was written by the former secretary turned executive that follows three young women working at one of Tinseltown's biggest talent agencies and some of its biggest stars, including Julia Roberts, Madonna, and Nicolas Cage. Goldsmith Thomas, who began her own career at the William Morris Agency in the early 80s, they said she was like a teenager when she worked there too, told Page Six it was like working in the Wild Wild West. She said, quote, people like Harvey Weinstein were not the anomaly. They were the norm. This is what she told the outlet. So, yeah, when people out here gagging over Harvey Weinstein, I said, oh, no, there's a lot more where that came from. Trust and believe. Now, details in the book include, and this is why I gagged. They said include a male assistant who is allowed to listen in on his boss while he is having sex with actresses auditioning for a role. Saying, quote, that was a story I had heard from a trainee who was, and not trainee as in what T.S. Madison be referring to, who was allowed to listen in as his boss. That was his bonus, his little treat. His boss let him listen in as he effed actresses. I am gagging over that. That ain't the only thing. Cheryl, she even spilled tea on Bill Cosby. She said the Cosby Show star threw a luncheon for all the William Morris secretaries to show his thanks for the success of the sitcom. Now, during a brief encounter, the Emmy winner asked about her future plans. She had recently graduated from college, and Goldsmith Thomas told the comic she would have to represent him one day. Saying, quote, later I got a call from an executive secretary on the first floor saying, Mr. Cosby was very impressed by you and we're going to give you contracts to sign, bring them over to his hotel, the Beverly Wilshire. And I went into the bathroom. I was really excited getting ready. Oh my God, I feel seen. I felt really seen. And my friend who worked for the president of the agency happened to be there. I told her and she said, don't do it. I said, why? She said, don't do it. Now she didn't say anything bad would happen. There was just something about the way she said it that frightened me enough that I didn't go. Now, Cosby has been accused by some 60 women of drugging and R-wording them. So, girl, she saved your life. That's why she basically, told you, don't do it. And she listened. Now, he was convicted of aggravated indecent assault in 2018. The conviction was later overturned, and Cosby, who has denied all the allegations, was released in 2021. Now, writing the book made me look back, she recalled, revealing that when she was still fresh in the business, when agents in LA would have their secretaries send booger sugar cross country in something called the New York pouch that went back and forth to New York overnight. Saying sexual harassment is common in the workplace when the second act producer was still new in the business. Saying, quote, the guys in the mailroom, they'd go, hey, could I have a little kepi? Meaning, can I get a little baloney wash? As the slurpee, the sloppy toppy. I go, how can you ask me that? We're friends. And they go and say, well, if you don't ask, you don't get. Now, Lopez and her future producing partner met when they were both attending a performance of Cabaret, starring the late Natasha Richardson in 1998, and the two connected on a very visceral level. Now, they said together they have worked on more than a dozen projects together, including Hustlers, Kiss of the Spider Woman, which will be released in October, and Office Romance, which she is currently filming with Ted Lasso's Brett Goldstein. And I remember hearing stories that they were trying to say that Jennifer is out here, allegedly that's her new boo. I don't believe that. It's just they're working on a movie. I think it's a romantic comedy, which I don't know why she keeps sticking with those movies. But if that's what you want to do, then by all means. So, and he's from. Oh, I think I did say he's from Ted Lasso, right? So they said it was the hustle star who went. Now, for those of y'all wondering, she's not going behind Jennifer's back. In fact, Jennifer insisted that she write the book. She said, Jennifer is extraordinary because here's a dancer who became an actor, who became a singer, who became a global brand, who was probably one of the biggest stars on earth, and she's incredibly kind. This is what she said of her friend. She said, I felt when I worked with Jennifer that I had a partner. She put her shoulder next to mine and we'd push. It sounds funny, but the sky wasn't the limit. It was a resting place. So if y'all are interested, Climbing the Hills comes out on April 29th. And I think what's probably going to happen is Elaine is probably going to go on a lot of these book tours. She's probably going to have Jennifer on this tour with her because I think that their connection would probably help her sell this book. But here's the thing, I am a huge fan of salaciousness, especially what goes on in Hollywood. Well, hello, that's why y'all watch the show. So clearly, that's how I kind of, reading. So I may actually have to get this book because I want to know what all else is doing. She's spilling up in there, and if she's spilling names, or did she change the name to protect the innocent? Because I want to know what you're talking about. Like I'm gagging over the fact, but I'm not surprised though. When it was talking about that, yeah, there's an exec that goes literally sleeps with actresses for parts. So it's like, yeah, casting couches. How long? They've been around since like before speech replaced sound language. Having casting couches is nothing new. Now she's talking about it. So I say all this to say, what do you got? But sometimes I'll be looking at some of these actresses, I'll be like, I wonder which one of y'all spread y'all legs for an exec and didn't actually get the part because you got the talent to pull it off. You gave up the cookies. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this story in regards to his producer partner spilling a lot of Hollywood's inside tea in her new book? Whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. He said the band Madonna store was called Self-Esteem, very unknown in their native UK, but known enough to sell out 800 seats, and one of them is Madonna. He said name them, otherwise it's Chime, okay? Oh, so yeah, maybe she's looking for some because a lot of times like the album doesn't feel complete. Let me look for some inspiration. So I'm sure that she's probably one of the few people that Hennifer has. I was thinking that. I was like, oh, she's incredibly kind. You mean to you? Because based off of a lot of you're probably one of like the most prominent producers in Hollywood and one of the biggest names in Hollywood. So she's gonna work with you because working together, y'all are like real. I don't know. It just creatively, y'all create interesting stuff. So you're not gonna whatever. Anybody, I wasn't buying it. As what I guess is all I'll say on that. But that's what you're trying to sell. That for Lopez is a kind human being. Okay, sis, if you like it, I love it. Was it ever confirmed if Diddler was? It wasn't confirmed, but I remember hearing stories and how he will push up on men sometimes. But I do think that that's been an old story. It was going. First of all, Wendy Williams used to always throw the "How you doing" on the Diddler. And he do give "How you doing" tease. It was always something about him that, you were giving me Butch Queen. J-Lo figures press on nails. Okay. All right, y'all. So now let's go from, because we were talking about something a little shady earlier. But now let's get into this shady story. So look, Miley Cyrus' brother out here dragging Katy Perry. I'm like, well, goddamn, what she do now? Look, Katy can't catch a break. Y'all just out here reading her. She got read for that horrible ass album and her being tone deaf in regards to working with Dr. Luke. She was read recently for going into space and not reading the room in regards to that, being tone deaf in that situation. And now Miley's brother, Tracee, is out here dragging Miss Perry. I wonder if the Katy Cat's gonna come out and say something, but I'm like, he ain't scared of you hoes. So now, following the Dark Horse singer's controversial trip to space, the Metro Station artist called her lame as fuck for allegedly copying his sister Miley's career, saying, quote, I first knew Katy Perry and her team were lame as fuck when her career was first dying. Oh, damn. He said when her career was first dying, he started in a lengthy rant post on Instagram Friday. And they were like, what can we do? Well, what worked for Miley? She cut her hair off and it broke the internet and everyone freaked out and she bleached it blonde. We should do that with you, Katy, he continued. Miley cut her hair into a pixie cut in 2012 while Perry debuted a similar style in 2017. So we do have that picture because it's it's not that one, it's this one. That's the pixie cut. She liked that look on her. I don't know, when I seen that, she kind of gave me like it felt a little Debbie Harry-ish. Like it was giving me that vibe. But then Trace also pointed out, and I didn't like the shortcut on Katy. And then she also didn't Katy also dye her pixie cut blonde? Because that was I don't know, I don't think I had the picture from earlier. But yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. Because I do remember that Katy had a shorter look that kind of looked like the first picture that I showed y'all of Miley's hair. So now Trace also pointed out that Katy's team attempted to give her music more of a hip hop sound by pairing her with Migos on the song Bon Appetit. Years after Miley did the same by working with Mike Will Made It, Wiz Khalifa, and Juicy J on her Bangers album in 2013. Saying, quote, you're now going to do the same stuff that Miley did and blow up, Tracee went on, parroting an alleged conversation between Perry and her team. Guess what? It didn't fucking work. And then they just tried some EDM song or some shit because EDM hot. Well, here's the thing. Katy Perry's career basically started off, to be fair, not the first album that she did with had You're So Gay and all that other stuff on there. But when she came out in the whole California Girls era, that sort of thing, that played more into the whole EDM thing. So Katy always was someone who just went with the trends. She wasn't someone that set the trends. She is someone that follows the trends. And now when we look at her career now, we've had this argument many times, not an argument, but a conversation on this show where Katy basically has not figured out how to evolve herself as an artist and her sound. Well, hence why she went back, and when she did 143, she went back to the, Dr. Luke, and none of the music sounded interesting, inspired, or even genre pushing. It just felt like she played it a little too safe. But is it? I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like, and I might have to defend Katy a little bit here. Not that I'd be proud to do it, but who died and said that Miley had to be the one to just be out here doing hip hop? Because quiet as it's kept, when she did that Bangers era, people called her a colonizer too. That, oh, you only jumping on a bandwagon to do black music because you want to differentiate yourself from the whole Hannah Montana brand. And then after that, you decided to switch up and go into a whole different genre. Once you started playing up into that hip hop cosplay. So people was kind of in a way about Miley too. So she ain't no innocent in all of this. Now I get the shade and I'm here for it because it's entertaining and it's good grist for the mill and it's something for us to talk about. But this seems to be an ongoing thing where a lot of times when it comes to urban music or whatever the case is, these labels are quick to want to have their white artists jump on that sound, and they pushed for that more than they would a black artist. So we've seen a lot of that too. So that's where that comes from. So we're not going to sit up here and have a bunch of two white women over here fighting over who put out the best urban music. Because as a person of color, that whole argument don't even sit right with me. So Page Six reached out to both singers' reps, but did not get immediate responses in regards to that. So yeah, this is the time when Miley was going through her hood era. She got her she got her card to come into the hood, her little pass. But anyway, not her repass, but a pass. Now, Trace's brand comes after Perry became the subject of online criticism for taking part in Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's historic all-female Blue Origin spaceflight. And if Lauren Sanchez came with that, she put them those silicone injected lips on that man peen. And she was giving him the best BJ of his damn life while she was putting that idea in his head. She was doing all that in between swallows of the good old nut. And he was like, yeah, baby, yeah. And when that climax came, he was like, yeah. And then here we are. Them bros went up into space. There was one post that I saw online that still hasn't came. Somebody said, I've taken dick longer than them broads went into space. That was a cackle. Now, since their Monday trip, the singer has fielded comments from brands and celebrities alike. Now, child, you know who was the latest one that came out against Miss Perry? Oh, there she go with the pixie cut. Martha Stewart went and joined the chat and threw a little shade. So now Stewart, who's 83, took to social media and posted a 2007 video of herself aboard a Boeing 727 called G-Force One. Now, in the clip, the lifestyle guru explained that she experienced what astronauts feel when they reach zero gravity, saying, quote, "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind?" This is what she wrote over the clip, taking a jab at the opening lyrics of Perry's 2010 hit Firework. Now, Stewart continued her shade in the caption, adding, "In case you spaced out in 2007, Mother has always been ahead of her time." So while y'all weren't out here talking about that Katy Perry and them are the first women to ever go into space that were celebrities, and Miley, Martha's like, "Oh no, bitch, hold my beer, because I went before you, and that was in 2007. So what the hell what you talking about, Willis?" So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to this whole topic that we're talking about, and the whole fact of, do you agree with Trace and his little shade that he threw towards Katy Perry? I'm gonna say, look, they both ain't innocent in this whole hip hop colonization situation. So, but I will say this: Miley had better bangers when she worked in the whole hip hop genre versus Katy Perry. Katy Perry always comes off like she's a try hard. So, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so let me go up. Her brother needs help to help Miley during the flop era she's currently going through, and how no one seems to care about the album she has coming out at the end of the month. Yeah, because I said, like, after all that stuff that she put out, it don't seem like people are gravitating towards the music. Night of the Creeps is a fun movie. The director shaded TriStar Pictures, saying they wanted a slow film. And like horror films want violence, not 60 minutes of a slow build up to a 30-minute roller coaster. I agree. I actually like The Night of the Creeps. I actually own it, as in I bought it as a digital download. So it's like another movie that I am a fan of. In 2017, she had a bleach blonde pixie cut, the Forbidden Witness era. Oh, child, I remember. And we didn't like that album. When Katy took her break during Prism and Witness, trap rap globally became the #1 genre, and she couldn't keep up with her peers during that era like Ariana and Taylor did. Even when Taylor's career was deemed done after 1989, her follow-up album was very trap-inspired and fit into the late 2010s climate. I'm not sure if I told you this, but my dad was going to take me but the show was canceled. I was obsessed with her during the Bangers era. No, you didn't tell me that story. I was like, oh, your daddy was going to take you to a Miley Cyrus concert. Child, can you imagine the stuff that she was going to be having up in there? And she probably, you think, you know what still irritates me? Which one was it? Was it Sugar or Spice that did Miley Cyrus on Snatch Game? I hate that freaking, I'm like, who is that? But that was not Miley Cyrus banging herself in the head with a sledgehammer. It's like, girl, what is wrong with you? Hence why one of them broads went home. But anyway. Okay, so let's go from one pop act to another, and let's talk about Miss Britney, because it looked like the Britney fans have joined the chat in regards of they are upset because of what Bobby Brown said in his recent interview with Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, by the way. So yeah, so we didn't talk about the fan reactions, but I have them now. So yeah, after he basically said that Britney butchered his original My Prerogative song, the fans took to social media to vehemently disagree with the R&B king Bobby Brown. After he said, like, yeah, she butchered his song. And when I say R&B king, that is from his ex-wife's mouth, Whitney Houston. She the one that said that was, you know, he was the king of R&B. So that's why I said what I said. So while the Can You Stand the Rain vocalist cleared the cover with high expectations, he later had second thoughts. He said, quote, I cleared it only because it was Britney Spears. This is what he confessed after Sharp questioned why he approved of the cover, arguing how he thought Spears was going to turn over her iconic piece of work and wow him. Now, after disliking her track, Brown learned you got to hear it to clear it because you don't know what these kids will say these days. Saying these kids say some ish that if you don't want your song associated, you don't want your song associated with it. Now, after his remarks went viral, Spears' army of fans rallied in her defense, and many insisting that they prefer the Toxic Singer's cover over the R&B and hip hop legend's original tune. Saying, quote, new headline, Bobby Brown on the brink of being forgotten, brings up Britney Spears to stay relevant. A supporter of Spears quipped via Twitter as another admirer wrote, Britney's version slaps though. Maybe he just needed to give it another spin. Well, why would he be trying to stay relevant by dissing her song? First of all, it's her, dissing a song that she remade. It's not her song, it's his song. And I feel like if it's my song, I should have the right to feel how I feel about stuff. It ain't nothing about clout, relevant. Bobby Brown is is iconic in his own right. He's someone who's been in the industry since the damn 80s. So for people to try to dismiss him, to me, it's just ridiculous. But he's entitled to his opinion, whether we agree with it or not. Now, do I think that his song is, well, first of all, I grew up listening to Bobby Brown, New Edition, that sort of thing. My little sister, she's actually older than me. My sister was obsessed with New Edition and Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, and all of them back in the day when she was growing up. That was her group. You know how like a lot of you white girls like all some new kids on the block. My sister was all about New Edition. So of course, because her being a big old fan, Yeah, I listen to Bobby Brown. I grew up with it. When you got siblings, you listen to what's going on. So, and I'm in my prerogative. I do like his version. I don't particularly care for Britney's too much. It feels a little too overproduced. I don't like the whispery, cooey vocals. But if y'all like it, I love it. But for me, because I grew up with Bobby Brown, that is my choice. Britney's was okay. It's not the most iconic, but it is what it is. And look, at the end of the day, I'm sure Bobby, you made a good coin from her re-recording that damn song or covering it, as we should call it. So other people went on to say everyone agrees Britney's version is the superior version. I don't make the rules. A third individual pen, as a fourth fan admitted, Britney's version is absolutely incredible. No idea an original version even existed. I've heard some other people say that to me too, that they didn't even know that it was a car. I'm like, huh? Where the hell y'all been? Google is your friend, people. And another person said, I didn't even know it was a cover. Wait, I didn't even know it's a cover. This unknown should shut the fuck. That was what you wrote. Where was the up part? Let me fix this for you, because apparently reading is fundamental. I didn't even know it was a cover. This unknown should shut the fuck up. I think that's what you meant to write. So I helped you out. Well, first of all, for you to even call Bobby Brown an unknown, first of all, you need to go out and play in traffic. Don't play with Bobby Brown like that. Now, in other words, the way I only learned of this song and this Kaya is because of Britney's cover. What the hell does that mean? This Kaya? You talking about my neck and my back? Kaya out here promoting Britney, the Britney song or My Prerogative? I'm confused. Another person said Britney's version is absolutely incredible. No idea an original version even existed. Okay, so somebody wrote that twice. Okay. Now, at the time of Brown's 1998 release of My Prerogative, which appeared on his second studio album, Don't Be Cruel, the song was a success, appearing on Billboard's Hot 100 for an impressive 24 weeks. So for those of y'all who's sitting out here trying to act like Bobby Brown ain't ish, that he's, a non-factor, whatever the case was, his version appeared on the charts for 24 weeks. It doesn't say here how long Britney's version, which appeared on her greatest hits album, My Prerogative, how long that stayed on the charts, if it even charted at all. Now, in July 2024, Ozzy Osbourne snubbed the circus songstress during an episode of his family's podcast, where he complained that he was fed up with seeing poor old Britney Spears frequently sharing videos of herself dancing on social media. Well, it's probably because you tired of her with that ratty ass hair, that messy eyeliner, twirling in her bra and panties, and them horrible brown shoes in that foyer. That's probably what he mad about. But look what I always say: if you don't like something, scroll on by. If you don't like a particular program on your TV, change the channel. If you don't like the song, ask Alexa to skip it, or Siri. Wait, I shouldn't even say that loud, because now my watch and my phone about to go off because I got Siri on it. They be like, "Why are you calling me?" So now, to give me more vocalists later clap back at Osbourne's rude message, telling the Black Sabbath lead singer to kindly fuck off, while calling the Osbournes the most boring family known to mankind. Ciao. Are they that boring though? Because here was the thing. I was obsessed with the Osbournes back then. Hence why I went to Ozfest and everything. This is because of the whole reality TV era. I wasn't really familiar with the Osbournes back then until I used to watch the Osbournes, and I was like all about Jack and Kelly. And then I went to, and Amy refused to be a part of the show, which was, I guess, more on her part. But I wonder if she still got put, a little coin from not even wanting to be a part of the show. But family taking care of family, even though they don't want to be a part of the reality series. Then I even got to do Ozfest when I was in Jersey with a friend of mine. And so it was fun. But for the most part, look, this is always, I guess, going to be a dividing factor. A lot of people aren't particularly, there's some people that love Bobby Brown. Some people feel like he's irrelevant. He's been around for a long time, so you're not going to be staying on top forever. And people think that, Britney is a national treasure, and y'all should be picking on her because she's been picked on her whole life. So I guess this is going to be inconclusive. We just going to have to agree to disagree. Some people just like her song better than his, but because it is his song, he has a right to feel how he feels and express that feeling. It wasn't the only controversial thing he said on the podcast, but I guess that's all because this story is way more salacious than entertaining. That's what people are going to focus on. Because look, we already talked the other day. He said something about Usher and Bobby Brown. Not Usher, Bobby Brown. Usher and Chris Brown, the other Brown. And the fact that saying that Chris Brown is the closest thing we have to Michael Jackson. And on that, Chris Brown and Usher, two great artists in their own right, definitely great live performers, stage performers. They're both selling out, tours all around the world. Usher with his residency around the United States and abroad, where he's doing arenas. I think he's got a 9-date arena show at the O2 in London, or is it the UK? I don't remember. I don't remember where O2 is. I think it's in London. And Chris Brown's about to do the stadium tour. So they both are famous and great in their own right. They're both successful, immensely impeccable performers. But Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. Usher is Usher, and Chris Brown is Chris Brown. And yes, they both taken inspiration from Michael Jackson. But none of them come close to what Michael Jackson was bringing. And I know this may be blasphemous to say also, but quiet as it's kept, Michael Jackson was cute for a moment, but then he started to kind of get a little repetitive with a lot of what he was doing, whether it was the music and it was a stage performance. I was more or less a Janet fan more than a Michael fan. But that could be because I'm a homosexual. Because, we gays, we tend to gravitate more towards the female artists than the male. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Bobby Brown had to say about Britney Spears and her fandom coming at him and their overall opinions on my prerogative? It's his prerogative to speak on whatever the hell he want to speak on, whether people want to hear it or not. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh yeah, I saw that one. After your show, I went to listen to his version of the song, and I had Bobby Brown's music blocked, hidden on Spotify. Damn, why you had him blocked? I still like Britney's version more, and didn't know it was a cover until this week. I'm like, did you have him blocked beforehand? I'm like, what he do to you? Gen Z knows Bobby Brown as Whitney's man, and that's it. Well, that's true because people have to realize that. That's kind of like what I said about the Osbournes. I didn't know about Ozzy Osbourne because Ozzy Osbourne music, Black Sabbath, all that stuff was before my time. When I came of age and I was able to understand what was going on, he reinvented himself. I'm trying to find a word. Reinvented himself as a reality star. So with the Osbournes, that got a lot of people interested in what he was doing. So that's how we became familiar with who he was. Because before it was like, yeah, I didn't know who Ozzy Osbourne was until the Osbourne. So that got me interested in his music. And I think that was the way you kind of do it, is that when you had this one career and then it kind of goes a little stale and people forget who you are, then you reinvent yourself in another way. Hence why you see a lot of these musicians going on shows like The Voice and all this other stuff, because they're bringing attention to, the music. And so, yeah, Bobby Brown had a music career at one point, and then it kind of like fell because he was always a bad boy, getting into trouble, the drugs, and all that other stuff. And then, he reinvented himself with being Bobby Brown, which that show was a hot mess. It was a mess, but it was definitely entertaining. That was on Bravo long before we had the Housewives and stuff. It was being Bobby Brown. I think I blocked his music because of how he treated. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking that you said you wanted to go try to hear the music and he was already blocked your thing. So I'm like, it had to be something, pre what he said. Bobby is upset that his life career hasn't turned out the way he wants. I mean, it would have turned out the way he wanted if he would have not been out here being a hot ass mess. But he got caught up in all them drugs and being a bad boy and all this stuff. They don't afford the same opportunities to people of color that they do white folks, where they can get away with murder. He should have known that. But anyway, so we have about 3 more topics left before the end of today's show. So before we get to those 3 topics, if you can please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps in the show once the live stream is over, so that way you could so for those who come in and watch like the playback, then you'll be able to just click right to the topics at hand instead of having to just sit through all the banter that we do throughout the live feed. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this Kenya Moore hair care story. So Kenya did jump on the line, and that would be social media, to give her side of the story in I believe it was a YouTube video. She was looking good though. But Kenya always looked good. So They said she was fired, but then I'm hearing she's also suspended. So I have no idea, but I think she's suspended. But the way she's talking now, she might not be back for working at Bravo. But hopefully she gets a gig somewhere else. Now, according to Moore, Bravo was aware of Brit Eady's violent threats throughout the filming of season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but allegedly ignored them. So now debuting Kenya Moore's The Confessionals, the suspended Atlanta housewife was armed with receipts longer than a CVS checkout slip addressing Brit Eady and her publicized clashes with past castmates. And ooh, there's a lot to unpack. Now, filmed in her salon chair from her, at her Atlanta-based hair spa, which, you know what, this is a good thing, because I was worried. I was like, is the spa still open? But if she got the hair spa, you know, if you have it out in Atlanta because of who Kenya Moore is, people are going to come out there, you know, with, you know, being, you know, straight out of curiosity. But girl, make sure that your hair spa is impeccable, because you don't want your hair spa to be the hair equivalent of Candy Burris's restaurants. Because y'all be hearing the stuff that they be saying about Old Lady Gang and Blaze Steak Spot, or whatever the hell Blaze's spot is called. Because you know his is closed. I heard that Blaze closed, and Old Lady Gang, I believe, is still around. So yeah, you don't want to suffer the same fate that Candy has fated. And that's no shade to you, Candy. The streets is talking. And you know, when the streets be talking, I got to report back. So they said that she bashfully quoted Kendrick Lamar's opening lines to his 2024 diss track, Not Like Us. They try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Well, that should, you know, if she would have came back to the show, that could have been her tagline. Well, clearly that was aimed at Eady. Now, for context, fans saw the controversial incident, as we all saw, led to more parting ways with the show on April 6th. You know, Moore had been beefing with Eady. Eady was out here, you know, Brit was out here threatening her, talking about she was going to pow her, she was going to get her, you know, and when you start doing that, oh no, this is fighting words. So, and I will agree with this. Now, I said this in my last video that I did on Kenya. She was absolutely wrong for what she did. You don't use your hair spa opening as a moment to have yourself like something like it literally felt like you posting, showing pictures of Brit naked, giving a man a baloney wash, which she did say that it's online, that these photos were found on social media. You still shouldn't have used that place as an opportunity to show that. You should have did something else. You should have, you know. But the thing with Kenya is a stunt queen. She's somebody that likes to do big dramatic things. Remember Gone with the Wind Fabulous? She was up in there twirling, team twirl. Then she, you know, at the reunion, she had the fan, popping the fan, which was very much a homosexual thing. And I believe that, was it Miss Lawrence taught how to clack that fan? So yeah, we all know that she was heavily influenced by the black homosexuals. So her clacking the fan at the reunion, which was a cackle, and then the next scene she was like, "Oh, I got to come with another prop." So she came with the scepter, thinking she just won RuPaul's Drag Race, walking around with a damn scepter, to the point where she was irritating people. She was irritating people to the point that Portia wound up putting paws on her. Which I believe was Portia suspended for doing that? I'm trying to remember. Because Portia's done so many damn things on the Housewives that, you know, they kind of overlooked it. But I think the reason why they probably going in on Kenya, because they feel like Kenya is a troublemaker and Kenya be doing too much. And maybe she rubs a lot of production, a lot of people the wrong way. So this is where all this outcome is coming from. So maybe that is why it was like, oh yeah, we need to bring another girl up in the show that could really come for Kenya. Now, the video, I should tell y'all, was 30 minutes. But thanks to the root, I have all the highlights on what had happened. So one of the highlights was that she called out Portia, since we were just talking about Miss Portia. Now, the mother of one blasted Williams for saying that another housewife helped her expose Britney, or Brit, Eady. She said, quote, "I know for a fact that one of these housewives who's still on the show is the one who gave Kenya a big part of that nude information. This is what Portia alleged on her YouTube channel, Don't Call Me Portia, in the video of her own about the scandal." And Moore was not having it. She said, you know, she immediately shut down a false claim and said, quote, "Absolutely no one gave me anything. Stop using my situation for clickbait. She added, accusing Williams of using her to profit from her storyline. Because quiet as it's kept, I heard them ratings is in the toilet. I heard they got even worse now that Kenya's not a part of the show. And the ratings was even that hot before Kenya's incident. And I said I was going to watch up to the incident, and then I was done. But I didn't have to watch the show. The clips was all over social media. So I literally watched the whole scene as it played out. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. It's like, I don't need to watch it. I've been watching the clips, a lot of the clips online of Kenya and Brit's interactions and the drama that have transpired between them up until the big moment. But I will say this, I applaud Kenya for confessing to her wrongdoings. And, she admitted what she did was unacceptable and even shared an audible clip apologizing to Eady and the entire cast. And not only that, she also brought up her situation with Kim Fields. Back in the day, she said, I shouldn't have pulled her chair and all other stuff. Like, I was doing too much in that moment. And I apologized to her. She said, even to the point that we moved on and Kim was going to invited her to be on the Upshaws, which I believe Netflix canceled that show, by the way. And here's what she said about Brit. She said, now in the first few weeks of the show, Moore claimed that Eady was boring and their negative interactions were calculated to create a storyline for the show, saying, quote, I think when she was interviewing for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she wanted the villain role. This is what Moore speculated, believing that Eady promised production to go after the reality veteran. She also accused Bravo of ignoring Eady's threats during filming, saying, I keep a pistol for bitches like you. This is what she recalled Eady saying. And then that ain't the only thing. Miss Kenya had spoke for Bravo, too. Here's what she said. Now, she also called out Bravo what she deemed as a lack of fairness in the Housewives franchise. She said if Eady had said this to Teresa Giudice or Kyle Richards, the response would have been more severe. And here's the thing, Kyle Richards has been able to get away with murder on that damn show, but she still gets to maintain a diamond, meaning that she could pick and choose what she will and will not talk about on a reality show. Because last time I checked, she is on a reality show. So you don't want to address your alleged lesbian relationship and all the things going on in your marriage, except for what you want us to know. And now you're trying to be all ho-hum. But you still get to maintain your diamond. And then Teresa flips tables. She even pushed Andy on the couch. She has done a lot of things that would be deemed problematic. They even paused the Housewives of New Jersey until she got her ass out of prison. So y'all do jump through hoops for some of these white women. So I definitely see, like, she don't want to say it, but she feels like there's underlining racism that goes on when it comes to how you treat your black talent versus your white talent. Now, in regards to the reunion, people are wondering if Kenya will get the chance to vindicate herself during the reunion. She said that she was first invited to the reunion, which is usually filmed in New York, but was later disinvited. Now, social media timelines lit up chatting about the first confessional episode. One Twitter commenter said Kenya Moore, who has been physically assaulted, didn't get the protection white housewives get from other franchises. Another commenter posted, it's a network without a standard, but they always found a way to make sure to discipline Kenya. And what was the other thing they were saying? Oh, so someone else said, this fuels my theory that in addition to a documented history of not whorephobia, Kenya is structuring the failure of her fledgling business so she could blame drama rather than her iconic lack of business acumen. And then this is what late model Toyota Previa said. Another thing that they said was Kenya is situating Brit as the overpowering mother, as she has done with Portia, Nene, Phaedra, Kim, Fields, Natalie, etc. She is thus nothing more than satisfying a need, the same need that tormented her childhood and in consequence dominated her history. Jacques Lacan, Freud's papers on technique. So I guess that's what they were trying to quote and say that, yeah, Kenya is basically, this is like stuff from her childhood. She's bringing this into the show. Now, another viewer expressed gratitude for Moore's unfiltered confessional, saying, now y'all know I've had this love/hate relationship with Miss Twirl, but she took back the narrative and exposed an entire RHOA production and Brit Eady for the liar that she is. Good luck, Kenya. Or good job, Kenya. So yeah, that's basically all the tea. that y'all got on that. Now, you know, early April, that last episode that y'all saw of her with the exposure situation, they said that people no longer want to film with her. That was her last moment. So we don't know if she'll be back or if she's gone for good. Or if she's suspended just for this season. She'll be back for season. What season did we in? 14? They're about to, for season 15, whatever season the hell it's going to be next year. And we'll see if she survives and if she comes back or whatever the case is. It's like whether you love or hate Miss Twirl, Kenya is good TV. And with Nene not coming back, because Nene focusing on that talk show, that wooden ass talk show she got, and all the other girls, you know, dried in paint on a wall. Who knows? Maybe it's time for Atlanta to be canceled altogether. And maybe y'all need to kind of rejudge certain franchises. Maybe y'all need to bring back Housewives of Dubai, judge that up again, revive it, find some new people. Like I said before, maybe y'all need to start adding some LGBTs on there because we the only ones that can give y'all the entertainment and save y'all boring ass people on these shows. Or maybe what y'all need to do at this point is Atlanta go away. And the new flagship show for people of color, especially Black women, should be Potomac. Maybe Potomac needs to take the mantle. Potomac's been the only one that stepped their pussy up in regards of drama, entertaining us, craziness going on between the cast members. So maybe Potomac is like what is now the new Housewives of Atlanta. Because they're the only ones bringing it every damn season. But I don't know what they're going to do by next season because the Grand Dame is currently in jail. And I think she gets out at the end of the year. So I don't know if Bravo's going to press pause to wait for her to get out of jail for her drunk driving situation. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story of all the highlights? Did you see the did you see the 30-minute video that Kenya posted on YouTube? And did you believe her? Did you think she was sincere? Do you think she was spewing a bunch of BS? Like whatever your thoughts on, or, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, yeah, we're the one. He said everyone been a hoe. Okay. And that's what I say. I will never let somebody spray me with my own tea. You try to slut shame me. I'm like, and you mad because you wasn't included? It's like, yeah, I did videos. And these days, who doesn't have a certain thing? Who doesn't have photos or videos of them doing shenanigans? I think everybody at this point pretty much does. So for Kenya to try to come out and judge her on that, I just thought it was a little tacky. But like I said, it's literally getting to a point where Kenya has got it in her head that she has to have these sort of beyond the gates, Tyler Perry as dramatic, explosive moments. Like you're literally in a soap opera, and her little soap opera stunt backfired. All right. Okay, so now let's get into our next topic, which is, let's talk about Miss Tracee Ellis Ross, who recently did an interview over there on I'm trying to remember what's the name of the podcast, the IMO podcast, but I guess is In My Opinion, which is hosted by Michelle Obama and her brother. And so Tracee is spilling a little tea on why she tends to go after younger men. And people, of course, I said, well, if it was a man that did it, it'd be a problem. It is a problem when it's a man. What are y'all talking about? Do y'all have selective memory? So I do have a clip of her speaking about why it is that she likes to hunch men younger than her. So let's go to that clip and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner. We had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracee's.
It's fun. It's very fun to share.
Tracee tale.
But
I'm sorry.
But one of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner. And so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous? There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize and I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again. Because I mean, we've talked.
And you want to know something? I do think that she has a point in what she said. I did not mean to close that picture. But I think in a way that she does have valid points on what she's saying. That I think that a lot of times when she dates men her age, there is this I'm Tarzan, you Jane sort of aspect to dating where they feel like, yeah, I'm the provider, I'm this, I'm that. And you can be that. Men can be the provider, men could still be the protector. Women, at the end of the day, when you have a lot of money, when they have a lot of success, when they have a lot of those things, they still want a man that's going to play like that protector for them, that wants to still be chivalrous and open the door for them and do things. And y'all can work out a situation if you're going to be in a relationship where he can take care of certain things if you are the overall breadwinner and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of times when she gets with younger men have a lot more energy. Younger men are way more curious. Younger men do look at older women as sort of like a prize package, because it's like, oh yeah, I got this older woman. She's into me. I can learn so many things from them. So it is like this give or take. Now the real question remains when you are that older person, the response, because you know what Spider-Man uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. And when you're going to get and be in a relationship with somebody, you don't want to be out here trying to groom them in some sort of way where you can kind of manipulate them in some sort of way and they won't be able to, think for themselves, or they're under your control, that sort of thing. So you're talking about that these men are trying to control you, but hopefully when you're getting with a lot of these younger men, that you're not doing the same thing that those men that you were dating that were your age or older were doing to you. So I hope it all, works out that way. I know a lot of people apparently have a problem with older women dating younger men. You got a problem with Cher doing it. You got a problem with Madonna doing it. It's just like, look, as long as you're not hurting each other, as long as you're not out here using your power, influence, and your age and your wisdom, and you've been around a long time to manipulate these men, then, I don't mind it. But I do find it relatively interesting that, she went on Michelle Obama's podcast, and now Michelle Obama, another one, out here with a damn podcast talking to celebrities and things of that nature. I'm like, child, do we need any more podcasts? I mean, I haven't listened to it. I've heard that Michelle's podcast is kind of boring. A lot of y'all out here, quiet as is kept, are just boring with y'all podcast. But look, that's y'all podcast. You can do whatever the hell you want to do with it. But I don't know. It's just like, maybe at her age, she's like, you know what? I don't want to have children. And that's okay too. I don't know why people think that you're not complete until you bring children in the world. Not everybody want to deal with that headache. So shout out to you, Tracee. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Have you had experience dating someone older? I mean, when I was younger and you're trying to figure out yourself in this whole homosexual climate, and you can't learn how to navigate through that world when you have cis-het parents, especially when you have a father or a mother where you can't go to them and be like, asking them questions about how to navigate through a world that they're not privy to or they don't understand. So when you get in those type of situations and you get with somebody older, I would look at, older people, whether it was people I was in a relationship with or dating, or even people I was friends with, and trying to get that inspiration and trying to understand what was going on there. And maybe that's what they're getting from it. So good luck to you. As long as you having fun and you ain't hurting nobody, that's all that matters. So I want to hear from you all in regards to this story. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So let's get into our final topic and let's talk about Drag Race. So the finale happened, and I don't know why anybody's surprised, but people there's mixed feelings in regards of this past finale that we just had. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained by it, but yeah, I do got my issues. So now hold on, because I gotta pull up my notes. Because there was a lot that I posted in regards to this. So of course, now they filmed the show in front of an audience on the main stage, which I saw that a lot of people had a problem with. There were some people that were sitting out here saying that I don't know if I kind of like the fact that they were doing that. Some people thought that the reason why that they filmed it on the main stage is because they wanted to keep the secrets or spoilers or whatever from getting out. First of all, the spoilers already got out because for weeks we already knew that Abracadabra was the final lip sync and that it was going to be Jules Sparkles versus On Your Nerve. But that was going to be my top two choice anyway. And I had heard back and forth stuff in regards to who's going to be the top two. So, but look, regardless of that, the thing got out. Hopefully they do change it back to the original format where they did it live back then in front of a full audience. But here's the thing that I really wish that they would do. But I know RuPaul ain't going to do it because the woman, unless you telling him stuff in his ear, he ain't going to remember. He can't even read a teleprompter properly. I really wish if y'all really want to keep this stuff secret, maybe y'all need to take more of an American Idol approach and do the finale live. That, in my opinion, will be a way better situation. As long as the people there know how to do a whole live taping, which is you got the cameras, you got all the other stuff going on, and then you can get everything up and running, that'll be great. Unless it takes a lot for the queens to get ready for the performances or whatever the case is. But if that's the case, then make sure that y'all have a team of people or they have a team of people that can help them get in their costumes and get ready for whatever it is that they're about to do on the stage. Now, speaking of stage, the girls hit the runway and they all came out. Now, there was a couple of ones that did stand out for me in regards of the runway looks, the finale looks, and you see a couple of them up in here where you see Sam Starr, Lexi Love, On Your Nerve, and Jules Sparkles. This was their finale looks. And I did love Jules Sparkles. It took up the whole damn stage damn near. And she looked like a princess. And I liked Sam. Sam was giving country bumpkin realness. I mean, she is from Alabama, so she was going to give you country bumpkin. She was going to give you Jesus Takes the Wheel tease, pageant girl. Country pageant girl. On Your Nerve was definitely giving me like she was the queen of Wakanda. She's the queen to be. But that would be not Wakanda. That'd be the other place, Zamunda. If y'all seen Coming to America, And then we had Lexi Love, who came out looking like a Victoria's Secret model. Have they ever had a trans model do Victoria's Secret fashion show? I think they have. But I definitely love Lexi Love. Lexi loves being naked, so that was going to come without, or practically naked, so that was going to go without saying. But for me, personally, my favorite runway looks when they came out was Crystal Envy. Love Crystal Envy's look, who, sidebar, congratulations to her for getting Miss Congeniality. I think I nodded off at one point because I was like, wait, did they even give out Miss Congeniality? Apparently they did. Crystal Envy won Miss Congeniality and she was given, what was it, 10 grand? So Crystal Envy, and then Acacia for God loved her look. Corey King, first of all, Corey, shout out to you. You have stepped your pussy up this season. From when you first started out on the show until now, you've definitely stepped it up in regards of like your looks. The body is sickening. The makeup is on point. The wigs be wigging. So I'm living for Corey King or Corey too. So I'm living for Corey. Ariete lived for the whole cat look, the animalistic look, although that hood thing that you had over you, you should have really had made sure, or somebody make sure you have enough wiring in there so that way you don't have to like hold it up, because it felt like the hood was too heavy and it wasn't doing what needed to be done. So you had to hold it up with your hands at one point. But overall, the outfit was sickening. I love the makeup. I like how you do like the little animalistic prosthetics, and I'm sure it was probably a play on Michelle Visage's critique of that strip, that little white strip you put down on your nose. I definitely love Lydia Boho Collins' look. Susie too was cute with the whole play on the Little Shop of Horrors. And the fact that he had the hands folded, which were the fake hands, and then the Venus flytrap was her actual hands. So I had to think about that for a second. So I was living for for Susie Toots look. Was definitely living for that, and how there was her play on Little Shop of Horrors, and that whole snatch game, and how big of a mess that was. And like I said, and I love Jules Sparkles and On Your Nerves looks. So then, after we get to the runway and everything, then of course Mama Ru comes out and performs what was the song? Good Luck and Don't Fuck It Up. So, and I haven't listened to that song because, you know, I did listen to Good Luck and Don't Fuck It Up, the album. But for the most part, a lot of the songs and stuff on it is like remixes and it's not like a full-fledged album. There's some new cuts on it, but there's also remixes of other old songs that she's done. And she released that back in January. So she got up there and she performed, definitely was given, you know, her best Cher impression during the lip sync, which I thought was cute. I was like, okay, even down to the licking of the lips, you have Rue up there. And then, you know, the legs, very statuesque. I love the outfit. I need her to retire those George Washington shake and go wigs. Please do not bring those back for season 18. But I've been hating the George Washington wigs that she's been wearing. And yeah, so Good Luck and Don't Fuck It Up was a cute song, whatever. The performance was great. The boys looked cute. She definitely looked like, you know, she was giving hot for teacher realness. And yeah, there was that. So then after Rue's performance, then we get down to the regular performances. So Jules was the first one that came out that night and served the children with her performance, that song Ding Dong, which of course was a play on that. And she does on the show. And she went more for a physical comedy route, which I will say this. When I was watching it, and I hate you, Bianca Del Rio, because I did watch the pit stop earlier today, and she said something that I've been saying this whole weekend. I'm like, damn, you beat me to it before I could do my live. But greater minds think alike. That was, if I would have been more for that if I had not seen that same similar performance at the Grammys with Sabrina Carpenter. Because Sabrina Carpenter, when she did her Grammy performance, it was very similar in the way where it was just like, oh, like everything I was doing was going wrong and I was a mess and I would fall over the place. And then it was this, like, so it was a play on like throwing some comedy into the live performance. So that was my only issue with that. And to me, it was like it didn't feel like it was authentically you with that song. It felt like it was a brand grab. You know what I mean? Because it's like whenever it comes down to RuPaul, it's all about branding and what you're most famous for, and her doing during the confessionals. And don't get me wrong, Jules had one of the funniest confessionals and the most fiercest confessionals of the season. One of the many, because Angie Nerve was carrying. There was a couple of girls that was giving entertainment in the confessionals. Even Corey King was giving hilarity in the confessionals. But Jules, to me, it felt like you were trying to capitalize off of something that you did on the show and trying to compare that with a performance we already saw at the Grammys. So it didn't feel original enough for me. So it wasn't my favorite performance, but you get an A for effort because you got up there, you was being silly, you made fun of yourself, it was cute, you got a laugh from the audience, and everybody was entertained. But as far as like favorite performances, yours was not one of them for me. So now, but I do like the Ding Dong song. So, Lexi's roller coaster, roller boogie performance, which came out with the roller skates. It's cute. Her playing on her original performance when she came out, like when they did the in the beginning of the season when they would come out, they do like their little performances. I forget what it's called, but when they would come out and they would highlight their talents and all this stuff, she was like a play on that. It was cute or whatever, but that was it. It was cute. And then, now in regards to On Your Nerve, honey, to me, I felt like Anya gave a sass, pizzazz, and a whole lot of ass with her, original number. It do take nerve. Now, the one thing about her is like, I felt like out of all of them, Anya's performance was my favorite of the night because she kept it regular. It was no stunts. It was just a drag queen up there with a talent for singing because she has a great singing voice where she just gave bundle down. The body was tight. The ass was assing. And she gave you choreography. She gave you confidence. And to me, I prefer that over all the bells and whistles. I wanted a straightforward pop star performance when it came to that. And I felt like out of all of them up there, Anya gave Anya. Anya wasn't up there trying to be something she wasn't. She wasn't trying to be extra with it. She just gave y'all a cute song, which in my opinion was one of the better drag songs that we've heard. Because a lot of these girls be coming on with their little drag race songs. And I'm just like, child, you could have left that on the cutting room floor. No shade, but this should not be available on iTunes. This track, okay? But Anya, after listening to her, I need a full album from her. Like, in the same vein of like an Adore Delano or a Monet Exchange, I definitely feel like we need a Anya Nerve album. So hopefully that's the next thing she's working on. So then, honestly, I did not like Sam's song. it felt very much like, okay, she's giving her, authentically herself, which is very much pageant girl. There was a lot going on. She did the Heidi and Closet teeth whistle with the S, the soft and supple. How she do that? I don't know how to do the whistle, so I'm not even gonna try. But there was a lot of choreography. There was a lot of tricks. There was a lot of stuff going on. Even at one point, turning her dress into a red carpet. Like, it was just so much going on in that short amount of time. It was just too much for my eye to catch on. And I just felt like, y'all gonna pull back a little bit. It was just a lot going on. So Sam's performance didn't really stand out to me, but it was, she was cute. Then we got Liza with a Z, basically, who was finally giving her flowers, as they do every year, and she received the Lifetime Achievement Award. So kudos to her. So then after that, because there wasn't really a lot going on, it was just a lot of interviewing the queens, asking them, stuff about their life, and what would you tell this age version of you? And shout out to Lexi for being like, what Ru said, well, you gave us permission to use this picture of you as a kid, because we know how it is when it comes, like, it's real sensitive when it comes to your transgender, and you don't want to deal with a lot of who you were as the former gender that you were. And I love the fact that Lexi was very much sat there and was like, I'm going to embrace my past. I'm going to embrace all my, and she was a cute boy too. I was like, look at you. And so her embracing her past so that way she can get to her future and not be that old her, to me, I appreciated her in that sense, because it's like, yeah, if you don't, you're not gonna be able to go where you need to go if you ain't look back on the past and realize where you've been and not go back there anymore. So I've grown, I've evolved, I've changed so much since that time. So I just want to give her props for that. And seeing all the other queens where they were looking at their past versions of themselves and saying, like, what would you tell your former self? And I even thought about that for myself. Like, what would I tell little, Chris than what I know now? And I guess for me, I would be like, don't take life so seriously. Have a little more fun. Don't, just. And I feel like with my, I've always had like this good angel on my shoulder that's always kept me on the straight and narrow. Now, don't get me wrong. I have taken some derailments and I've done some things that I'm not proud of. Howsoever, my guardian angel has always steered me in the right direction and kept me protected. So I feel like for me, I would just not take things so seriously and learn to like loosen up a little bit and have a little fun and not stress out and worry so much about things that are beyond your control. So that would be what I would tell my former self. And don't let those kids get to you, the ones that, when they would call you a faggot and they would call you names and they would pick on you. And because I got picked on, I got bullied and stuff, but I fought too. I wasn't letting y'all sit up there and bully me and let me get away with it. So I would learn like to not, I feel like I said all I need to say in regards to that. So now I was like, where else am I going? Because I do have a lot of notes. It's like, where am I? So then, okay, so now I think after all of that, then we get to where four become two, or as the Spice Girls say, when two become one. I need someone that I never needed love before. We'll make love to you, baby. Okay, let me stop. Wait, no, I won't post that one. That was like, I just revealed the winner, but y'all already know because y'all seen the show. Hopefully, because y'all not up here because this is a spoiler. But anyway, so we get down from the four, and then we get to the top two, which is On Your Nerve and Jewel Sparkles. So Sam Starr and Lexi Love end up having to sashay away. It wasn't their time. Hopefully we'll see them on All Stars. And Sam would have grown. No, it was another one I totally forgot. Sam Starr is another one that pretty much was iconic in her runways and all the stuff. So shout out to her. Also, I want to give a shout out to Nymphia Wynn. Let's go to her look. First of all, this look was everything. Love, love, love this look. When she came out, I gagged. It was just like, I was just over the moon in regards to this look from Miss Mamas. So now it comes down to the final two, where, we find out first of all, we find out what Nymphia had been up to for the past year, that sort of thing. And then, Yeah, we just found out what she's been up to. She comes out with the septum and all the other stuff. Scepter. Says septum. Septum goes is a piercing. The scepter. And then she's about to pass the torch to another queen. So then it comes down to the final two lip sync, which is On Your Nerve and Jules lip singing to Abracadabra by Lady Gaga. Now, the queens, I will say they gave their all in the song. Jules pulled out all the tricks. Anya focused on strictly performance. But I will say this. I had a problem with both of theirs, and I'm going to tell you why. So Jules, I felt like was spending way too much on ripping things off. There was a lot of reveals. It was a lot of taking things. It was just too much tricks. And I feel like ever since Sasha Velour did what she did with them damn rose petals, everybody feels the need to have to come with some type of trickery and all that other stuff. And they think, oh, she ate. No, it's getting tired. It's getting annoying. It's getting stale. It's like, get up there and give me a performance. I don't need y'all pulling off a wig after wig after wig. I don't need y'all ripping off this pant and this boot and this panty and this and this, that. And all of a sudden y'all up on stage with the dingling swinging around doing the helicopter to abracadabra. Like, nobody needs all of that. Sometimes simplicity is important or simplicity is enough. And then the thing with On Your Nerve, I felt like she should have paced herself a little bit. She was doing way too much. I feel like because a lot of y'all was so inspired by that damn music video that y'all feel like y'all need to go full out with the choreography. And to me, unless you got like 25 backup dancers behind you, no, leave all of that extra shit to Lady Gaga. Like, if it's not easy getting up there trying to do abracadabra, especially with abracadabra being this high energy intense song. So I felt like y'all both was doing too much for different reasons. But one of the things that irritated me was the people online, and I'm gonna get to that one in a minute. So once I reveal the winner. So after all of that, the RuPaul revealed who the winner of season 17 is, and it turned out to be On Your Nerve, which I think we all pretty much knew that it was going to be On Your Nerve that was going to win the show. And a lot of people were excited, but there were a lot of people that were pissed and were sitting there talking about, well, I don't know, that's ridiculous. Like, how did Anya win over Jules? Jules ate that final lip sync. And I'm like, where the hell have y'all been that a final lip sync determines who wins who wins a whole show? It has never been that way. Although some people would argue that the Sasha Velour Shea Coulee performance, everybody believed that Shea Coulee was going to take the win. Everybody believed that Shea Coulee, because of her track record, she was going to beat out Sasha Velour. However, that lip sync changed everything. So maybe it just depends on the situation. But I feel like in this season, the way I'm looking at it, that it was about track record in regards of On Your Nerve won 4 challenges, main challenges. If y'all really want to go by that, then Sam Starr should have been up against Anya, because Sam Starr got 3. And to me, when I look at Jules Sparkles, once all the weak links got eliminated, then she was, she couldn't hide behind nobody anymore. And I'm not saying that Jules ain't talented, because she is. But to me, it felt like she was kind of coasting. She wasn't really standing out to me for a long period of time. And y'all know this because when I've been doing the recaps. Until recently, when she did the makeover challenge with her father, and even the challenge before that. Once we got to like the top 6 around that time is when I started to notice Jules finally, and she started to step her pussy up. Then she started making a name of herself. So y'all thinking she gonna win a whole show based on her finally decide to step up and show up to work? No, that's not how that works. So Anya has been consistent. Yeah, there have been moments where she wasn't doing all that great, but in regards to a lot of the challenges, particularly the snatch game, a lot of the performance challenges, some of the challenge, the roast, the challenge she did, like anything performance-wise, Anya ate. So if you won 4 main challenges, you don't think I'm gonna give it to her to win? And what irritated me a lot is that a lot of people, RuPaul never crowned a Latina queen. Oh, so we doing DEI wins now? Since y'all want to bring up DEI and all this other mess, and since a lot of you Latinos want to vote for fucking Trump, you want to go there with this conversation? Especially you gays? Y'all really want to go there with this conversation? So we're not doing that affirmative action DEI bullshit when it comes to, oh, well, y'all don't want a Latina queen. She'll never crown. Well, maybe if they stepped up and did what half the bitches on this show did, then they would win a damn crown. We're not giving out awards just because we want a Latina to win. Or we'll never get a fat queen. Well, fat queens need to step their shit up too. I'm tired of people sitting here thinking, oh, because somebody of someone's ethnic background or whatever the case is, that they should be given something. No. Last time I checked, marginalized people work hard for the things that they want to get and accomplish. So I don't agree with that. I know I want a little on that, but so it just pissed me off when people start doing that weaponry crap, and then they try to hide behind damn, what was the word I was going to use? A lot of times they try to hide behind, their eternal, like they make little microaggressions. That was the word. I don't know why that did not come to my brain. But a lot of times I see the microaggressions, and a lot of it comes from people within our own community too, especially if you're a queer person of color. So that was specifically, now speaking of queer people of color, there was this child that was on Twitter, and they dragged her ass, and rightfully so, named Cisco for short, that's his name, came up and said the following. He said, only one girl ate that lip sync up. One girl ate that lip sync up. He wrote it twice. Rob. What is the fucking point of the final lip sync if the rightful winner still gets snubbed? Count your fucking days, RuPaul. And that's what he put in chat. When I tell you, I mean, he got a lot of likes and a lot of retweets and a lot of comments. They ate him up. But then he had to come in and say, notice how I never said the winner of the season didn't deserve the win. She absolutely did deserve the win. She did the best all season, but tonight's lip sync winner inched her out in both performances. Well, here's the thing. Every time Anya went up against Jules in a lip sync, Jules actually ate Anya up. So that's a given in a lot of ways. However, how many times have I said that the final lip sync does not determine the overall win of the show? I don't know why y'all keep thinking that. Maybe they need to change up the whole format of the final two queens fighting for the crown. But I guess it's because it's a staple in the show. That's why they stick with it. So at the end of the day, I think Rue already had his mind made up. Anya was going to win regardless based off of her track record. It had nothing to do with the whole lip sync. I mean, they need to come up with a different format in regards to that. I don't know. But clearly, a lot of y'all keep thinking that this is what this actually means or what goes with. So now, child, this person wrote a lot. Clearly they got a blue check mark. That's why they was able to write a damn paragraph. So one person wrote, RuPaul probably does go into the finale favoring some contestants over others. Oh, trustably they do. But the finale is there to blow his mind. It's to prove him right or wrong in his assumptions. Drag Race is a cumulative event. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Judging the final outcome is probably weighted. When you compare Jules Sparkle's track record to his showing during the finale, it simply wasn't enough to justify giving him the crown when compared to Anya. We all know he was a long shot. Jules definitely won the lip sync, but I personally think Anya's was entertaining as well. Didn't like the hair whipping head rolls though. And though I preferred Anya's original song over Jules', I think an argument can be made for both. Jules' overall performance during the finale was good, but it wasn't noteworthy. It didn't set a standard or even meet prior standards set by other queens. It was a valiant effort, but there's no way the quality of that lip sync justified a win for the season. If he trailblazed like Sasha Velour did in the season with the pedal reveal, it's something was so new and innovative, it could discount weeks of other achievements, then maybe there'd be room for discussion. If he was track record, I think it meant if their track record was neck and neck with Anya and his performance during the finale was marked better, or markedly better, similar to Nymphia and Saphira, then yes, the final finale lip sync would be used as a kind of a tiebreaker. I think people think the finale is an absolute when it really is just another metric to use in the overall computation. Ultimately, the person who should have won took home the crown. I was actually surprised the final two weren't Sam and Anya. The producers probably wanted a rematch for the drama factor. Yeah, that's why I said, like, if y'all really was going by challenge wins and stuff, it should have been Anya versus Sam. Sam really stepped it up this season. Yeah, Jules actually came up in the end, because remember when that episode when it was like, who's most likely to go home next, and they all picked Jules? So what, they was all imagining that? Why am I seeing Sasha Colby trending? I need to check what that is. Another person said, I mean, I love Jules, and they were both in my top two for a long time, but they both did amazing. I'm sure a lot of it went into deciding. I would have loved the twinner season or one or the other. Anya proved you can win with no reveals. She kind of ate that. And that's why I'm saying too many of y'all are so wrapped up in the reveals and the drama and stunts and stuff versus just good old fashioned drag performance. And as somebody who is, in my mind, an old school drag queen lover, because I've been doing drag shows long before there was a drag race, tipping the girls and going to the shows and everything. Like it wasn't all about stunts and all that other stuff. That's because this is TV drag. When we're talking about real life stuff, that's what that is. Child, somebody went in and said, "Stay mad, bitch. Anya deserved 100%." Another person said, "Did you have that energy when Monet ate Jinx?" And that was the one I was trying to get to. Because I was like, yeah, technically Monet ate Jinx up in her finale lip sync, and then Jinx Monsoon won the all-winning season. So it was clearly that the way we looked at production put it in a way that they wanted Jinx Monsoon to be the clear winner of that show. It smelled and I love me some Jinx. I interviewed her back in her season. So that show was tailor-made for Jinx to win it. And it was so obvious when you watch it. Another person said, count your days. Really, bitch? I wonder if the FBI is tracking these subtle threats. You twinks need to calm the fuck down or concentrate your I think they meant create because they put concrete. Or create your own goddamn show. It's just a silly drag competition. It's not as though you or your family are being deported yet. Ooh. Well, why you had to go there? Why you had to go and put the deportation thing in there? Just shady. There's somebody said, "Oh, you mad hoe." So yeah, they was going in on this whole situation. But yeah, so to wrap all this up, I hope they go back to doing a live finale. I don't like the main stage finale. It just felt a little cheap to me. Like it felt very much like, was there no budget this time around? You know how like Gia Gunn said back in the day? That's what it was giving. So I'm kind of like, I'm not really feeling that. I wanted a reunion. Looks like we're not getting one because look, I just heard that DragCon was canceled in LA. So we're not even getting a DragCon this season. And I'm wondering if it has to do with the fires and stuff in LA, or is it that what Willem said from last season, that it was just hot in the other place, that it's too much money that these girls are having to spend schlepping all their stuff to, rent out that spot, and how they're being charged so much money just to set up a booth to sell their merch. So it's like this, they use Drag Race as an opportunity to sell their product, but they're being treated like they're working in a slave, camp. Or, like those people that have been sitting working on them damn sweatshops, like that's what it was giving. So I don't know. Maybe DragCon needs to figure out what the hell they're doing, but it looked like DragCon is not doing what it used to do. So that's why it's not happening, which means we're not even getting a reunion. And I was looking forward to a Bring Back My Girls or something, but why is the season 17 queens not getting a reunion? Especially with all the drama and all the TV entertainment stuff that the girls was giving us. I would have liked to bring back my girls. And I feel like if we're going to move forward with another season, like I know you already cast season 18. I don't know when I think Rue did say that they're going to start filming it soon. I'm really hoping that y'all bring some more experienced queens in the show. I don't want any more girls. I mean, you can mix it up, but can we move beyond what we got this season, which is a lot of baby queens, a lot of queens who grew up with Drag Race, and that's all that is now. I'm not saying you got to bring in somebody who's like 75 and still doing drag. I'm talking about somebody who's done drag for a good, at least over a decade, that has pounded the pavement, that has performed in the drag clubs, that has a little more experience and not just so caught up in trying to be a bunch of damn Drag Race groupies. So I do feel like y'all need to broaden it up a little bit. So hopefully with season 18, that it'll be more experienced drag queens rather than a bunch of girls who are just fans of the show. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on this topic regarding the Drag Race. the finale. So what did you guys think of the finale? Did you enjoy it? Were you disappointed? Were you looking at it too like, why did y'all shoot this in the studio when y'all could have just shot this in another theater like y'all did before? Because the girls need to feel that kind of live entertainment type energy instead of just having like 30 people in a room sitting in the audience clapping. They want that big audience experience. So yeah, hopefully we'll get back to that for season 18. And I really am upset that we're not getting a reunion. So I want to hear from you all. What were your thoughts of not only the finale, but the overall season? So whatever your thoughts are on Drag Race and all things Drag Race, let me know in the comments down below. Also, I can't wait to find out who's going to be a part of the other show, the one with the what is it, All Stars 10? Looking forward to that. After the finale, Mistress was on TikTok live and snapped on people who were spoiling All Stars 10 in the comments and called them Redditors. Oh, they were? I'm glad I wasn't watching because it's like people are so annoying. Jules had the best look out of the top four. That pastel pink is one of my favorite colors, and she looks beautiful. Susie, Lucky, and Lana look stunning as well. I'm guessing those were your favorite looks too. I'm back after a 50-minute conversation with New York. My Aunt Mary, she was born on December 19th, so my grandma went close to Mary because of the holiday. I think this should be the last lip sync for the crown, especially after the disappointing lip syncs we've had all season. Abracadabra was wasted. I wish they would do drag classics. Yeah, because it's like, I need girls to focus on actually reciting the words, really emoting, because that's what drag was about. Now it's all about TV, going viral, clicks and likes and all that other BS. It's like, I feel like whoever is working behind the scenes and making these decisions, y'all are ruining this damn show. But I've been saying 50 million times, we do need alternatives. We do need new drag type stuff on TV and not just these, this one show being a representation of drag. But I do agree. I think that it is time to get rid of the lip sync for the crown or come up with a new idea or something. I knew Anya was going to win. I was rooting for Jules or Sam to win, but I'm glad she got the crown. She's not my cup of tea, but at least All Stars 10 is just around the corner. Well, yeah, you already knew. I knew Anya was going to win. There were people zooming into Nymphia's face reaction while she was handing her the scepter and making a big deal out of it. I know, that's so annoying because I just don't. I don't think that Nymphia was being shady. Jules had the most likes on her Team Jules Sparkles post before Anya got 500K likes, so that's probably why they carried her into the top two. Yeah, because Jules she is popular. She is well liked. I love Trixie and Katya. They are the only drag queens I know. Well, yeah, I like Trixie and Katya too. They were very entertaining. I mean, when they were on their seasons, but they're way more entertaining outside of Drag Race. Because when they were on their seasons, they were a mess. But yeah. All right, y'all. So we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. And also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm going to try to be on tomorrow. I'm going to be relatively busy. If I can't make it on, I will see y'all on Tuesday. That's why I had to give you all a show today. Because I was like, I don't know, I got a lot going on. Like I told her I'm going to go see Sinners again, but I'm going to be out all day after that. So if I can get back in time, I'll give you all a show. But if not, I will see y'all on Tuesday. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, say right. Ciao, darlings.